I can explain.
Pre-hibernation week. This episode is a banger. Like, come on, such a good episode. You guys already know it's coming. Like, you guys already know it's good. This episode has mistakes, 3 to be exact. Here's the first one.
You under there?
I can explain.
Yeah, so this is pretty funny, and you can see that this is some sort of layering issue. So at one point, Sandy throws an entire building in the air. Like, dude, Sandy is jacked. Like, Sandy is definitely hitting the gym every single day. Anyways, though, so she yeets this entire building into the air, and if we look closely, this building in particular is very clearly, like, cut off. It isn't supposed to be cut off like this. It should be an entire PNG of the building, but you can see the animators or the art team made a little bit of a mistake here, with this thing getting cut off before it goes off screen. Obviously, when it's thrown off screen, it's gonna get cut off, but it happens prematurely here, so a mistake. And pre-hibernation week still has 2 more. Here's the second one.
SpongeBob!
What happened to sleeping?
Well, I'll be asleep all winter. We only got 3 days for fun.
This one is definitely gonna make you laugh a little bit. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but the calendar that Sandy pulls down when she and SpongeBob are frozen in the lake is like extremely incorrect. It only has 20 days and only has 5 days a week. Now, you could argue that in like Bikini Bottom world and the universe of SpongeBob, months are only 20 days long, but we've literally seen calendars in this show before, and they usually have like up to around 30 days on them. So this was definitely a mistake. Like, kids, just so you know, a month has 30 days usually. Maybe 31, not 20 days. So this was a weird mistake. And here's another one from pre-hibernation week. This one, though, is really bad.
I go to sleep for the whole winter.
Can I do that?
No, silly. It's a mammalian thing.
Sandy, you may not have noticed.
Okay, so at the beginning of this episode, we'll notice that Sandy is wearing like green bikini bottoms underneath her skirt, okay? I don't really care about what Sandy's wearing underneath her skirt because she's an animal and this is a kids channel, but if you pay close attention, when Sandy goes over to paint her fence, the green bottoms that she had been wearing during this entire scene under her skirt just magically disappear, and she now has nothing underneath her skirt. Don't get any ideas, guys. I'm gonna slide right past this one, but this is definitely a mistake. Her underwear wouldn't randomly disappear. And yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's head over to another episode, dude. Lots of wild mistakes coming up, guys, and I'm not just saying that.
Holy seek how it's that sponge kid.
Quick, lad! To the invisible boatmobile! Away!
What is better than an episode of SpongeBob based on Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy? Like, come on, they need to do more of these. There was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 1, 2, 3, and then 4, which we're gonna be covering right now, as well as 5 and 6. So Nickelodeon, you guys should do a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy part 7. I know the voice actor of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have passed away, but there's definitely a way that we can spiritually mention them in the episode. They don't have to literally appear. Anyways, though, 3 mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy!
All right, this one is definitely weird, and you guys might not catch it right away, so let me explain. When SpongeBob bursts through the wall after overhearing Squidward saying Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, in the first shot, this wall looks like this. It's blue, okay? It's like entirely blue. And it shouldn't change, right? Well, after SpongeBob grabs the pen, and we see this wall in a second shot, it is now like a completely different color. Like, here's a side-by-side. It isn't entirely different, but you can see that the shading and coloring has changed a bit, which is like a major mistake because this all happens in a matter of like 10 seconds, literally. So the entire location of the Krusty Krab, like the walls wouldn't change. Like, what? This is definitely a mistake. And we've got more. Here's another one for Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Part 4.
Yahoo! I told you we should have got the
So these right here are clips that hold up Mermaid Man's pants, all right? I personally would never depend on clips, I would just wear a belt. But what's really important here are the colors of these clips. At first, they look like this, all right? They're this color, remember this, okay? Remember. As the colors of these things just will randomly change between shots. For example, in this shot, they're now this color. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, that is not the same color, and dude's clips for his pants shouldn't be changing. You can tell that the animators first colored it like this and then forgot and gave it a different color, which is like, why, man? Like, totally a mistake. And here's one more. This one, though, is really, really bad, guys. Get ready. Roll the footage.
Ta-da! Since I couldn't make you big, I made the city small.
Yeah, you guys probably caught it. It is possible some of you missed it, but when everyone pops out of SpongeBob after they go inside his body and beat him up, our favorite squirrel, her head is just missing. Like, where's her head? It's just gone. Her head is not there. And this is like a really bad mistake. Like, how do you forget to draw somebody's entire head? Poor Sandy, man. Here's the thing though, guys, if you thought this was bad, stay tuned because crazy mistakes are coming up, dude. Like, it's gonna get wild.
I'll be one step closer to my driver's license.
Oh look, another really good episode of SpongeBob from the golden era. I'm talking about procrastination. This one is a good one, where SpongeBob has to finish his essay, but he just keeps on getting distracted and puts it off. How many times have you guys done that with your homework? Be real. I'm calling you out. I'm also calling out SpongeBob though, as we're gonna be exposing 2 mistakes from this episode. Here's the first one.
Hop, ho, hop, ho, hop, ho, hop, ho.
This one's pretty rough and it's easy to miss, but when SpongeBob's nose and eyelashes are exercising, like what? Something's missing, guys. Can you tell me what it is? It's missing. Yeah, SpongeBob's entire right arm is just gone. They like forgot to draw it. How do you forget to draw somebody's entire arm? Like what, dude? Don't worry, he does get his arm back after the scene, but yeah, as you can see here, that right arm is missing, and boy, oh boy, is that an error. I've got another one from this episode that's also pretty spicy, but pay close attention, okay, guys?
What not to do at a stoplight? Let's see, where are we?
Okay, so as you guys seen in the clips, throughout this episode, SpongeBob is not able to get much progress made on his essay. And the only things we actually see him write are what not to do at a spotlight by SpongeBob SquarePants. As you can see here, he wrote it right here. And remember, this is written before SpongeBob falls asleep. I know a large part of this episode is SpongeBob fantasizing things because he falls asleep, like his house literally catching on fire. That's all a dream. But when we see SpongeBob write this text right here, what not to do at a spotlight or stoplight by SpongeBob, he is not sleeping yet. He has not fallen asleep. So it should still be there by the ending of the episode, right? Well, it isn't. Eventually, when SpongeBob awakens from his nightmare and looks at the paper before looking at the clock, only the word "the" is shown on his essay. And this is incorrect. We should also see what not to do at a spotlight, because we literally seen SpongeBob write this earlier on in the episode, so a major mistake here. And of course, I've got more. Let's head over to another episode, guys. Things are about to get really spicy, so stay tuned. I'm saving the worst for last.
Al, your obsession with Kenny's getting weird.
But you didn't even get to see my new Kenny the Cat temporary tattoo.
Oh, that's okay. See you, SpongeBob.
Next up, we have the episode Kenny the Cat, which I'm gonna be real with you guys, I'm not a big fan of this episode, so I'm gonna get right into it. Here's a hint, it has to do with Kenny the Cat in particular, more specifically his legs, okay? Try and comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down. I know you guys can do it. Roll that footage.
This gets real uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna make this one very quick, but when Kenny gets his oxygen tank, okay, if we look very closely, his entire right foot is just not colored in and is transparent. As I say that, I'm kind of remembering that I might have covered this mistake before, so if I did, I apologize, and don't worry, all the upcoming mistakes are new. But yeah, when he gets the oxygen tank, his right foot is just completely transparent and is missing any color. And I'm sorry, whoever was in charge of animating this episode should get like suspended or something. Like, how do you forget to color in a foot? This is also from the modern era of SpongeBob, so there's no excuse. A lot of the episodes we've covered today are from like 2001, the year some of you guys were born, so it's understandable that there's animation mistakes, but Kenny the Cat, no. Anyways though, let's keep it rolling, guys. Lots of episodes coming up that you do not want to miss.
No, wait, he wants to take you on a date.
Let's be real, guys. Is there any relationship that's more iconic than Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff? I mean, yeah, there's plenty of other relationships that are way more iconic. I'd even say Karen and Plankton are more of an iconic couple. But anyways, the next episode we'll be talking about is Krusty Love. And this episode is all about Mr. Krabs getting a crush on Mrs. Puff and taking her on a date and all that jazz. It's a good episode, but of course it has mistakes. It has two. And here's the first one. A little hint though, pay close attention to Mr. Krabs. Something's gonna be missing.
What's that smell? Register! 49.
Like I said, pay close attention to our crabby boy over here, as when Mr. Krabs rushes over to the cash register, the animators forgot to draw his legs. Those are kind of important because to move, you need legs. So Mr. Krabs rushing over here isn't possible unless he has legs. Yeah, a weird mistake here. I don't know how they forgot to draw his legs, especially when he was animated to be moving. It's very strange, but it's definitely an error. A really bad one if you think about it, but we've got more. Here's another one from Krusty Love, and try to comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down. It has to do with Mr. Krabs' outfit, okay? Roll that footage.
Oh, I doubt that, my little shrimp boat.
Imported music? Oh, what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Krabs.
Okay, so while Mr. Krabs is on the date with Mrs. Puff, he drips himself out in this very fancy outfit, okay? He's looking very dapper. He's looking like a man that's gonna go out on a date. To any of the boys watching, if you ever get a chance to take a girl out on a date, you dress up nice, you know what I mean? You put the cologne on. Anyways, that's exactly what Mr. Krabs does in this episode. Now, here's the issue. While they're on the date, we can see he's wearing the fancy outfit right here. But for a couple of frames in this shot, look, he randomly, well at the restaurant, changes back to his regular outfit, which was totally a mistake on the animator's end, as he's in his fancy outfit. He should be in the fancy outfit the entire date. Imagine you wear a suit, take a girl out, and then halfway through the date, you go in the washroom and change to your regular clothes. What especially highlights that this is an error is after this, Mr. Krabs reappears in his fancy outfit. So first he's in the fancy outfit, then he changes to his regular outfit randomly for one shot, and then goes back to his fancy outfit. Like, crazy mistake here, dude. I have no idea how this stuff happens sometimes. Next up is Wormy. I love this episode. It's all about SpongeBob and Patrick finding a worm, becoming friends with him, and then this happens.
I think something bad happened to Wormy.
He left his best friend Ribbon behind.
Yeah, SpongeBob and Patrick, you guys are like, I cannot believe you guys are scared of a butterfly, but to be fair, they've never seen one before. Anyways, though, it's mistake time. Here's the first one.
I didn't know I'd be missed so much. Golly, maybe I should go out of town more often.
Did you guys catch it? It has to do with Fred, but Fred's eyes seem to become transparent while carrying Sandy and SpongeBob. This happens at the very ending of the episode, so it's very quick, but yeah, his eyes are just see-through. When I don't think I need to tell you guys that your eyes are not supposed to be see-through. This is a mistake. And here's another one from Wormy.
It ate them, and there it goes! First Wormy.
Okay, so after Mr. Krabs and Squidward run away from Wormy, we can see that there are two pairs of underwear laying on the floor. This is supposed to imply that Mr. Krabs and Squidward got so scared that they dropped their underwear. But here's the problem here. Mr. Krabs, yeah, it's possible that he wears underwear, right? But Squidward, let's take a look at a PNG of him. This dude doesn't wear pants at all. So this was definitely a gag. It's not that big of a deal, but I don't know where this underwear came from. It's not Squidward's. He doesn't wear underwear. So kind of a funny gag here, but it is technically incorrect. First up, we have the two faces of Squidward. And for those who do not know, this is the debut of handsome Squidward. Like, look at this handsome squiddy boy. Yeah, this episode is how Squidward gets handsome. It's a really good episode, but it has really bad mistakes. Here's the first one.
We don't have much time. Take the door and change me back.
And I'll even throw in a free soft drink for an extra $3.
Come on.
Alright, this one's interesting. It happens really quickly, but during the clips you guys just saw at the Krusty Krab, there's this red fish right here in the background. And again, it's very easy to miss, but if you watch closely for a couple of frames, he has pupils, but he's missing his like full eyeballs. Like, look at how weird this looks. How do you draw a character's pupils, but forget to draw the actual eyeballs that the pupils would be inside of? Crazy, dude. And here's another one from this episode.
I love you no matter how many times we smash your face.
I almost wish that meant something.
Alright, so listen closely because this one's kind of complicated, but near the ending of the episode at the Krusty Krab, when Squidward's face goes back to normal, he's no longer chiseled and handsome, he loses all of his Rizzler abilities, but yeah, his face is back to normal. Now, when this scene takes place, if we look inside the Krusty Krab in the background, we'll notice that there's very few characters in the restaurant. There's this guy here, there is not a lot of fish in there. However though, when the camera cuts to the outside shot, there is now randomly a huge amount of characters. Like, this all happens in like a matter of seconds, so it's like, I don't know what's going on here. This was definitely an error. If there are this many characters in this shot, then there should also be this many characters in this shot that takes place like 2 to 3 seconds before it, so yeah. This is nothing though, guys. Some of the mistakes coming up are like really bad. People almost lost their jobs over some of these mistakes, so stay tuned, and let's head to another episode. Let's keep it rolling.
Quick, jump inside our anti-sea bear circle before he comes back.
Yeah, sea bears often attack more than once.
Are you crazy?
This next episode is very, very special. It's the camping episode. This episode was like huge when I was a kid. And if you don't know it, I'm gonna play a couple seconds from the campfire song, and I'm sure you'll remember the episode instantly. I'm gonna play like 4 seconds though, so we don't get hit with copyright claims.
C-A-M-B-F-I-R-E-S-O-N-G song. C-A-M-B-F-I-R-E-S-O-N-G song.
I mean, come on, dude. What an iconic song and what an iconic episode. But of course, you guys know it's coming. It has mistakes. It has 2, and here's the first one. Try to comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down, okay? Let's do this.
It's nice to unwind with a nice, relaxing campfire song. I call this one the campfire song.
Alright, so first things first, you guys may have caught this one, especially because I might have covered this mistake in the past, but don't worry, all of the other mistakes in today's video are new. You've never heard them before. But when SpongeBob starts to sing the campfire song, SpongeBob's right arm is somewhat like disconnected from his body for a frame. Like, I'm zooming in and circling, and like, yeah, his arm is like falling off. I'd like go and see a doctor about that one, SpongeBob. That's concerning. Or I would just have a conversation with the animators who did you dirty like this, bro. They couldn't even connect your arm to your body. Wild, man. And here's another one from the camping episode. This one is just like weird.
Weekend is here. And this isn't just any old weekend. This is the weekend SpongeBob and Patrick go camping.
Alright, so listen up. When this calendar right here is shown for the first time, the circle is on the 23rd, okay? You can see it right here. This circle right here is on the date of the 23rd, and it should stay there, right? Well, in the close-up shot that happens seconds later, the circle is now completely changed dates, and it's on the 25th. Here's a quick side-by-side, and just what? I guess they got confused in between the shots when animating the episode, but there's still no excuse, dude. Like, how does this mistake happen? It's fine though, the mistakes keep us entertained, right? So let's head over to another episode.
I love you too, Gummy.
Alright, next up we have the episode The Gift of Gum, and the plot of this one's very funny. Like, imagine you and your best friend, right? You guys have been best friends for years, and as a gift, he gets you a giant wad of used bubble gum. I guess it's the thought that counts, Patrick, but yeah. Alright, mistake time. Here's the first one, and you guys know was good. Try to comment this mistake before I come back in, alright? I know you guys can find this mistake without my help. Let's do this. Roll that footage, please.
The more you touch it, the angrier it gets.
Oh, that's just crazy talk. Hey!
This is another one that if you blink, you'll definitely miss it. So first we need to look at Sandy's design. So here's a PNG of our favorite squirrely girl, our favorite Texan, and you'll notice that on her cool, like, underwater spacesuit, her sleeves have stripes on them. They're like blue and red, okay? Now here's the issue. So when Sandy says, "Oh, that's just crazy towel," we can see these stripes on her arm, okay? And there's this one right here that's red, but it actually randomly turns blue for a couple of frames, and then randomly switches back to red. So it's red, then randomly changes to blue, and then changes back to red, all in like one shot, which is definitely some sort of glitch in terms of the animation. Like, this is definitely a mistake. It's not too bad. Roll the footage.
Told you it was easy.
Okay, so this one is kind of like a common mistake in SpongeBob, and it has to do with SpongeBob's iconic pineapple home. Now, if we look at this beautiful place, this delicious pineapple home, you'll notice that there's windows, okay? And the windows are always usually in the same spot. There's also a chimney, all right? It looks like this. Remember, the chimney's right here on this side of the pineapple. Then there's this window here and this window here. Now, let's do a side-by-side with this shot from The Gift of Gum at the ending of the episode. And you'll notice that both the windows and the chimneys are actually facing the wrong way, weirdly. Normally the chimney's over here on this side, so why is it over here on this side in this episode? This was definitely an error where they flipped SpongeBob's house by mistake. Remember guys, for this to happen, SpongeBob would have to like completely redesign his home, so yeah, 100% a mistake. Let's keep it rolling though guys, lots of weird mistakes coming up, and I'm saving the best for the end. Let's head over to another SpongeBob banger.
Squidward, you look a little different. Wow. Have you been working out?
Actually, Patrick, this is...
Hold it, SpongeBob!
The episode isn't bad, it isn't necessarily good, it's very mixed, to be honest. Some SpongeBob fans like it, some SpongeBob fans hate it. I personally like it, but I mean, who cares? We're here for one thing, and that's exposing mistakes. Like, let's get some animators fired, guys. I'm kidding, I'm joking. But yes, let's expose some mistakes. Here's the first one from Squidward.
Oh, sorry, sir. Can I take your order?
No, I don't like your attitude, bub.
Okay, so let's talk about the Krusty Krab for a second. More the interior of the Krusty Krab, the inside of the restaurant, and its design. As when we look in the restaurant, okay, we can see that in the middle, there's the like cash register area with the boat where Squidward works from. Then to the right of that, there's the door to the fry cook area, like the kitchen where SpongeBob is flipping up those patties. But there's also this door right here to the left that usually leads to Mr. Krabs' office. Now, here's the issue. In Squidward, when this character right here, Sandals, is ordering, there are a couple of shots where the door to Mr. Krabs' office is just completely not drawn. They just forgot to draw it. It should be right here, but it isn't. And not only that, guys, but also, you know the window that like SpongeBob pops out of to hand orders to Squidward, like this window right here? Yeah, in some of those same shots, the window to the kitchen is also missing. Very, very messy, and just, yeah, the animators clearly just forgot to draw both. But I'll forgive them, okay? Their job is pretty hard. 2D animation's a lot of work, but with that said, let's also expose this next mistake from Squidward. Roll that footage! Yeah, I may have covered this one before, I'm not 100% sure, but no matter what, let's talk about it because it's pretty rough. As when this close-up of Mini Squidward playing the clarinet is shown, look, one side of SpongeBob's shirt is just randomly yellow instead of white. This is definitely some sort of layering issue. SpongeBob himself, like his model, is yellow, and I imagine the clothes are put on top of SpongeBob, so I guess like the color from his skin seeped through, I don't know. I'm not an animator, but it's a mistake.
Wish I was back in Texas. The ocean's no place for a squirrel.
Our next episode is Texas, such a good episode from that golden SpongeBob era. Nothing touches Steven Hillenburg. I don't think the show has gotten as bad as some people like to claim. Like a lot of people like to just act like modern SpongeBob is terrible. When it isn't, you've just grown up and modern SpongeBob is still for kids, it's not for you. But I can't deny that Steven Hillenburg run was amazing, and Texas is a good example. So to be honest, I actually feel kind of bad exposing these mistakes, but I gotta do it.
Look, Patrick, I'm Texas. Howdy, y'all.
I'm Texas too.
Howdy, y'all.
Get a dog, little Arnie.
Now this one isn't that big of a deal, and I'm a nerd for even catching it, to be honest, but right before SpongeBob and Patrick start walking around in a circle, if we look closely at SpongeBob, it seems that he has 2 bottom lip outlines. Here's a PNG of SpongeBob. He normally has one of these right here. Like I said, it's supposed to represent his bottom lip. But yeah, if we look at this frame from Texas, yeah, SpongeBob has 2 bottom lip outlines when he's only supposed to have 1. When he's only supposed to have 1, not a huge deal, but it is a mistake. And come on guys, you know that's not it. I got more. Let's head over to another episode, and this is where things get serious, okay guys? This is where things get spicy. There are a lot of season 6 episodes. Like season 6, in my opinion, is where the series got like weird, but not in a good way, like a bad weird. And a good example of this is the episode Giant Squidward, where Squidward gets sprayed with this like growth stuff, resulting in him becoming like giant. He becomes like a big boy. And this causes like a lot of problems for the dude. Like I'm gonna get into the mistakes from this episode, but here's a little compilation of how being giant just ruins Squidward's life.
Squidward, I guess this is your new life. And this is your new bed. Good night, old life.
Yeah, I can imagine being a giant squid would be kind of like annoying. Definitely one of the worst things that has ever happened to Squidward. But anyways, it's mistake time. Here's a very spicy mistake from this episode that's insanely easy to miss. Like I said, it's really hard to miss, but when the villagers with torches and weapons in a mob are chasing after Squidward, poor Squidward, like I said, man, this is like one of the worst things that has ever happened to him. He's like a monster. But yeah, when he's being chased by a mob, if we look closely, one of these fishes, all right, one of their white eyes briefly turns red and blue for a split second. It's very easy to miss, but look at it right here. Definitely some sort of animation glitch. That is not good. Like if your eyes look like that, guys, go and see a doctor. Like man has like pink eye or something. He's got red eye.
What's the matter, boy?
I think Plankton wants to destroy our way of life!
Man alive! He's taking us down!
Next up, we have the episode Spongicus, which I would not be surprised if a lot of you have never seen it before. This episode is very underrated. Honestly, though, it's actually more overrated because the episode is just not very good. So honestly, I don't even feel bad for exposing mistakes in this one. Here's the first one.
Plankton's destroying the chum bucket? I guess he's finally given up on the restaurant business. Couldn't take the competition.
You guys catch it? This one takes place right at the beginning of the episode as Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob open the Krusty Krab doors. It's only for a few seconds, but the undershirt underneath like Mr. Krabs' blue shirt, he normally has like a white shirt underneath it. As a matter of fact, here's a PNG of him. I'm talking about this right here. Yeah, in Spongicus in this scene, look, it's gray randomly. It's only for a few seconds and then goes back to white, which is how I know it's a mistake. At first I was like, maybe Mr. Krabs was changing up the fashion a little bit, you know, rocking a gray undershirt. But no, the animators just messed up. And they messed up more in this episode, as here's mistake number 2.
Yeah. Stupid inflation.
Alright, so for this one, let's take a look at the Krusty Krab, alright? Specifically the outside of the restaurant, as there are some design elements that are very consistent throughout the show. For example, the clam sign, this right here that says Krusty Krab. I mean, come on, it's been there ever since Help Wanted, the first ever episode. It's right here. There are also some scenes in this episode where we can see it. For example, this shot from Spongicus right here. But here's the problem. At the very ending of the episode, when the lionfish roars, and it shows the Krusty Krab again, where is the clam sign? It's not there. It's just disappeared. Well, I'll tell you what actually happened. The animators in this one shot made a little mistake and forgot to draw it. Which, I mean, come on, none of us would notice this anyways, but it is still a mistake, so get wrecked, Nickelodeon. I caught you. And I'm gonna catch you more. Here's one more from Spongicus. Yeah, so this one's kind of similar to the last one, except it takes place inside the Krusty Krab. Now, first things first, if we go back to any episode, in the Krusty Krab, in the cash register area, there is, of course, a cash register. This thing right here that Squidward is always operating. I mean, it's literally his job. Now, the problem is that in the clips you guys just saw from this episode, there's this random scene where the cash register is just missing. It should be on the counter right here while everybody is laughing around it, but the animators forgot to draw it. This might have been intentional to save time to make animating this scene easier, but considering that the cash register is literally always there, it just randomly missing from this shot is clearly a mistake. But hey, I'll forgive you, Nickelodeon. Mistakes happen sometimes. Some of the mistakes coming up though, guys, I don't know if I can forgive them for, because there are some awful mistakes in SpongeBob. So let's get to them. Let's head over to our next episode. Let's do it.
Sad and alone, I am desperate for something to do and someone to play with.
Next up, we have Season 6's Choir Boys, and this episode is actually really fun, where SpongeBob wants to join Squidward in singing at his choir. SpongeBob ain't too bad, too. He's got some pipes on him. My boy can sing. Now, this episode has sneaky mistakes, and they're all pretty rough. Here's the first one, and try to comment the mistake before I come back in and break it down. I know you can do it. Like I said, they're pretty rough. I wasn't lying, guys, as when Squidward rips off SpongeBob's fake mustache, yeah, this dude is missing his right arm. You could argue it's due to the angle, but I mean, come on, they just did not draw that arm, and I think it's kind of important, right? Like, you need both of your arms. 2D animation's hard, so I understand them being lazy sometimes, but still totally a mistake. And dude, there's more. I've got plenty more. Here's mistake number 2 from Choir Boys. Alright, this one's kind of complicated, so listen closely, alright? So during SpongeBob's grand, performance towards the ending of the episode, at first we can see this grandma right here at the piano chair, okay? She plays piano during the song, but towards the ending of it, we'll notice that she actually randomly disappears from the piano for a while. She was there, then disappears, and then seconds later, suddenly reappears. So you can see she was always supposed to be there playing the piano, but then the animators for a couple of scenes forgot to actually draw her at the piano, and then eventually remembered, and she just reappears again back at the piano. So a very funny continuity error right here. I don't know, maybe she went to get a snack in the middle of the performance. I guess that's a theory right here, a SpongeBob theory. But we're not here for theories, we're here for mistakes.
Until the bell is rung. Thank you! Although a smidge less rigorous next time, please.
We're gonna do summer jobs. The thing is, this episode isn't really about the summer. It's about Mrs. Puff nearly destroying the Krusty Krab and her needing to work at the Krusty Krab with SpongeBob so that she can slowly pay off her debt to Mr. Krabs. As you can imagine, SpongeBob and Mrs. Puff are not the best, fry cook duo. They do not get along very well, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for mistakes. Roll the first one.
I don't care anymore. This isn't worth it.
Okay, so for this first one to really make sense, we need to take a look at Mrs. Puff, okay? More specifically, her colors and her design. Now, when it comes to Mrs. Puff, okay, the front of her body is this pale white color, the part with her face and everything, all right? Where her stomach and face is, the entire front area of her body is white. But then if we see Mrs. Puff from the back part of her body, her back, is a darker brown, all right? So the front of her body is white, the back of her body is darker brown. Now, the reason I'm yapping on about this is it's a big part of this mistake, as when Mrs. Puff is bouncing and right before she smashes the Krusty Krab doors, her colors are completely flipped. I'm doing a side-by-side here, and you'll notice that her pale front skin is on her back, the white part is on her back right here, and her brown, back skin is on the front of her. And this is a really bad mistake. They got her colors completely mixed up. This is why I'm doing the side-by-side so you can really see. So yeah, a really bad mistake here. You guys already know though, this ain't it. We've got more from summer jobs, so roll mistake number 2, please.
a good summer vacation, class. I'll see you all next fall.
Now this one is pretty hard to make out due to this episode being so old, but right at the beginning of the episode, very early on, all right, when the students are cheering at SpongeBob, if we pause at the right frame, we can see that SpongeBob's tongue, which is supposed to be like pink or red, is randomly yellow. Like I said, this one's kind of hard to make out, so let's do a little bit of upscaling magic here. Like, look, I'm doing my magic, and boom, we've upscaled the image. And yeah, we can make it out a lot better now if we zoom in a little bit. SpongeBob's tongue is yellow, and that's incorrect. Incorrect, just like this next mistake from Summer Jobs. Let's keep it rolling with mistake number 3.
But Swift, well, I wouldn't go that way if I were you.
All right, I'm a nerd for catching this one, and I guess it kind of reveals that all I ever really think about is food. But in the clips you guys just saw, when Mrs. Puff gets the Krabby Patty, we can see that the lettuce is on top. All right, it's right here, remember this. I know I'm asking you to overanalyze a piece of lettuce, which is kind of ridiculous, but it's important for the mistake. But yeah, it's on top. However, when it's delivered to the customer, the lettuce is just randomly now transformed to the bottom of the burger. So either Mrs. Puff was messing with the burger, she was fondling that burger and moving it around like a typical Uber Eats driver, or the animators put the lettuce on top, forgot, and then when it got to this scene, they incorrectly drew it with the lettuce on the bottom. That's probably what happened. See, now I'm just hungry though, but I still got more SpongeBob mistakes to cover, guys. So I'm gonna hold off on my hunger, especially because these mistakes are really bad and I don't want you to miss them. And then after this video, I'm getting a Krabby Patty, dude. Damn. All right, let's keep it rolling.
It's me!
Why is it all orange and blurry?
Where?
See? Right there, on the entire thing?
Oh!
Here's a question, guys. Who wants to go on like a vacation with SpongeBob's mom and dad? Like, let's go, guys. It'll be a blast. Well, that's exactly what happens in the episode, A SquarePants Family Vacation. The episode name kind of makes it pretty obvious, where SpongeBob and Patrick go on quite the adventure with SpongeBob's parents. Now, there's only one mistake I want to cover in this episode because it's really, really bad. Roll that footage.
No!
Oh, I could hear your stomach growling. I thought for a second it might be some kind of scaly monster coming to eat us.
Yeah, I may have covered this before, so if I have, don't worry, all the mistakes coming up are new. But when SpongeBob says, for a second, I thought it was some scary monster coming to eat us, his entire left arm, the whole thing, his left arm just completely disappears for a frame. And this isn't because of like an angle or something. This is a blatant glitch in animation. It's only for one frame and then it comes back. So you can't even get mad at the animators. Like, but still, dude is missing his whole arm. Crazy. And let's head over to another episode. I just wanted to throw this one in because it's so bad, guys, but even this doesn't touch some of the mistakes coming up. So don't go nowhere. Guys, you know, we're not gonna be heading to Bikini Bottom. We're actually gonna be heading over to Karate Island, along with our favorite butt kicker, Sandy, so we can go save SpongeBob. Well, that's not what we're gonna do, but that's what happens in the episode Karate Island, which is a really good episode. It actually has a lot of cool fight scenes, so here's a compilation of all of the people Sandy has to take on to save SpongeBob. And then we'll get into those two really bad mistakes.
You cannot pass unless you defeat me.
Leap, serve.
The lair of filthy Phil?
Dude, I would not mess with Sandy. Like, that girl is a fighter. I mean, she's literally wearing a Kill Bill outfit. Like, I'm doing a side-by-side. So yeah, do not mess with Sandy. What I am going to mess with, though, is the animation. Like, that was a 10 out of 10 segue. Come on. Anyways, here's mistake number 1 from Karate Island. Keep those eyes peeled. Alright, so when it comes to Sandy, whenever we've seen her feet, not that I be paying attention to, you know, like a anamorphic squirrel's feet, but if we pay attention to them throughout the entire series, Sandy always has 3 toes. 3 of them, okay? Look at this shot, 1, 2, 3. But when Sandy's fighting Master Udon and kicks him in the face, ouch. If we look at her feet, she's shown with 4 toes randomly, when again, she normally only has 3. So technically a mistake here. They gave her an extra toe for some reason. Anyways though, enough about Sandy's feet, all right? I'm not like that, guys. Let's instead talk about mistake number 2 from Karate Island. This one is really, 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 really bad.
Unless you defeat me, the Tickler, and my Iron Finger style.
Yeah, so I wasn't exaggerating when I said it was really bad, guys. So in this one scene right here, all right, when Sandy takes on the tickler, when she first arrives and we see the tickler, he is wearing brown pants, okay? But as the scene progresses, there's this one shot right here where dude has white pants randomly. We're literally in the middle of a battle here, so I highly doubt the tickler like hopped in an Uber, went home and changed into white pants, which is like the worst choice to fight in, by the way. Like white pants stain so easily, and then came back with a whole new pair of pants. The animators drew him with brown pants, forgot, and then gave him white pants, which is like a 10 out of 10 mistake, guys. That's like really bad.
Only 2 volunteer employees could do for no extra pay.
Next up, we have the episode Greasy Buffoons, and this episode is all about Mr. Krabs and Plankton competing with each other like they always do. They're like the biggest rivals ever. Like, let's be real, like Mr. Krabs is like Goku and Plankton's Vegeta. I want to see them fight, you know, that'd be like really cool. They should get in the ring and box. Anyways, I'm gonna be quiet, and here's the first mistake.
Now from now on, I want you to fry up 2 patties for every Krabby Patty we sell. One for the patty itself, and the second just for the grease.
This one happens really fast. You guys just seen the clips, but when Mr. Krabs says from now on, if you look, it happens really fast, but his pupils just like disappear for a split second. Like, look at this dude without pupils. It looks like something out of a horror film, dude. We got cursed Mr. Krabs right here.
Order.
One double Krabby Patty, everything on.
All right, this one's weird and is kind of like a silly mistake. Like, it's weird that they even made the mistake, but when Squidward gives SpongeBob the order, the condiments right here on the shelf go in this order, okay? Mustard, mayonnaise, and then mustard again. They really like mustard in Bikini Bottom. Here's the issue though. When SpongeBob comes out of the kitchen, that mayonnaise bottle is now randomly replaced with ketchup. So instead of it being mustard, mayonnaise, and mustard, it's now mustard, ketchup, and mustard. And remember, this all happens in a matter of seconds, so this was 100% a mistake. At first they drew mayo, and then they just changed it to ketchup. Here's a random one for you guys though. Comment down below, what do you prefer, mayo or ketchup? Or both? You know what I prefer though? More SpongeBob mistakes. So let's head over to this next episode. This one's pretty rough, guys. I don't know how it made it onto TV.
Are you ready to go for it?
Like Mr. Krabs says, it's now or never.
When does he say that?
Usually on his way into the men's room.
Next up, I have another episode of SpongeBob that you guys have probably never seen before. It's called Trench Billies, and it's all about SpongeBob and Patrick being held as prisoners by like a backward gang. Yeah, season 7 has some weird episodes. It also has some mistakes though, and this episode has one that I really want to talk about. Roll the footage.
What's he doing? How long have we been watching it?
What time is it now?
2:30.
Okay, so you guys may have caught it, but several times when SpongeBob is looking at the jellyfish from his binoculars, okay, his mouth crosses over with his arm. This isn't supposed to happen, right? Like, his mouth should not be able to overlap with his arm. I want you to think about that for a second. It's not the biggest mistake in the world, but it is a mistake that shouldn't be happening at all, dude. Imagine looking at your arm and your mouth is on your arm. So weird, but let's keep it moving, guys. More mistakes coming up, and the ones I've talked about so far are nothing compared to what's coming up, so stay tuned.
Aren't they a little, elderly?
We may be a little wrinkly,
but we're as tough as jerky!
This next episode is a season 13 episode. Actually, it's a season 14 episode. I'm always talking about SpongeBob mistakes, but that was a mistake right there. I meant to say season 14. It's the Goob Father. And this episode's wild. Pretty much like Mr. Krabs creates a new product that he sells at the Krusty Krab. It's like a burger shake. But the Goob Father does not like this, and he keeps on coming and like destroying the Krusty Krab and stuff. It's actually like a wild episode. And of course, a wild episode like this has a bunch of mistakes. It has 4, that's right, 4 in one episode. And I want to give credit to my little bro Jason for helping me find these mistakes. He actually helped me find all of these. He like came over and we hung out and we did it, so shout out to him. One day when I retire, he'll take over. Here's the first mistake. Keep those eyes peeled.
The brand new Patty Whip is now on the menu.
Okay, so mistake number 1. If we take a look at the Krusty Krab, guys, we look at any episode, we even go back to season 1, the OG era, and there's always the Galley Grub menu. This thing right here with all of the different items you can order from the Krusty Krab, along with the prices. This thing right here, okay? Well, in this shot right here of the Goop Father, it's just not there. They just didn't draw it, which of course is some cartoon logic, but I mean, it's always there. Even in scenes where like people aren't looking at the menu, it's still always there in the background, so I don't know why they just didn't draw it here. It's kind of lazy. There's also normally this sign right here, this green order here sign. If we look at any other episode, it's there, but in this episode, in that same shot, it is also missing. So 2 mistakes in 1 right there, and here's another mistake from this episode. Here's a hint, a certain restaurant is missing.
Prepare to be annihilated!
If you've been watching for a while, you know this is probably the most common mistake in SpongeBob history, so I'll make it quick. Canonically, okay, the Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket are directly across from one another. Here's an example of this right here. Here's another clip showing that this is a fact. They're across from one another. Here's even one more example, okay? 3 examples right there showing you that the Chum Bucket and Krusty Krab are across from one another. So yeah, specifically in this shot right here from the Goop Father, when the Goop Father himself shows up, look, the Chum Bucket is missing from across the street. Don't worry, this next mistake is much better. Roll the footage.
The Goop Father would like to have a little talk with your boss. The Goop Father would like to have another little talk.
Okay, so at the beginning of this episode, when the Goop Father first arrives, okay, we can see that it is nighttime, all right? And then as the episode progresses a couple minutes later, he arrives again, and we can see that it's daytime. I'm doing a side-by-side right here. And in one shot, it's daytime, and in the other shot, it's nighttime. Now, if we look at both of these shots, we'll see that there's a clock right here. And here's the problem. If this shot is in the night, and this shot is in the day, why is this clock the exact same time? The clock should change, right? The clock would be one time at nighttime and then a different time if it's during the day. So this is a mistake. I guess you could argue maybe it's the exact same time the next day, but I think they were just too lazy to update the clock as the episode progressed because this is literally a kid's cartoon, but it's still a mistake. That clock should change, especially if the daytime and nighttime is like cycling still. So yeah, believe it or not though, that's not it. I still got one more mistake from this episode. Let's go take a look at this. Here's a hint. It has to do with SpongeBob's mouth, okay? Roll the footage.
Extra sprinkles.
Coming up, double K swirl and make it snow.
Did you guys catch it? Like I said, it has to do with his mouth, okay? As in the scene where SpongeBob makes an ice cream cone and gives it to someone, I want one, by the way. I want an ice cream cone. If we look closely though, one of his teeth turns yellow for a single frame. Very common mistake in SpongeBob, but it's still like a mistake. Like, dude, like, why is your teeth yellow? Go grab that toothbrush, my guy. Also, just saying, that's what happens if you eat too much ice cream, guys. You're gonna get yellow teeth, so don't do it. But all right, let's head over to another episode with more mistakes. I cannot believe there were 4 in that last one. Crazy, dude.
I waited so long, and you broke it.
As we've seen in many older episodes of SpongeBob, SpongeBob himself is not a very patient person. I mean, we go back to the episode Procrastination, where he had to write a whole essay and he just couldn't do it. He had no patience to get it done. And this is a similar theme in the episode Waiting, where SpongeBob wins a contest and has to wait for his toy to arrive in the mail, but it just takes a long time. Just like how you guys are waiting for me to shut up and talk about the mistakes. So let's do that. Here's the mistake in this episode.
SpongeBob SquarePants?
Could you come back later? He's having a moment.
Yeah, so right after SpongeBob is given the toy, okay, Patrick and SpongeBob dance. They do their little dance. It's, they got some good dance moves. Now, during this scene, there is no mailbox, okay? We can see that, like, when we look around the whole area, there is no mailbox at all. But then, at the ending of their dance, this mailbox right here just randomly appears, when it literally was not there during their dance. This also happens during this scene where SpongeBob is given the toy by the mailman. The mailbox literally is not there, but then when the mailman comes, it just magically appears. It just spawns in. Kinda lazy, Nickelodeon. And that's not it. I got another one from Waiting, and this one's pretty spicy, all right? Here's a hint. It has to do with this box right here. Roll the footage.
What's this? This is a free prize!
Okay. So the mark that said free prize inside at first is orange, okay? When SpongeBob first sees it before he takes it, it's orange, as you can see here. However, when we get the close-up shot of SpongeBob reading it, it is now like a pinkish red color. Here's a side-by-side, and I have no idea how the color of a sticker just randomly changed. Like, what, dude? Talk about a weird mistake. And guys, we got more. We're back to our spongy boy, and the episode we're gonna be talking about is All That Glitters, another episode that I'm sure some of you guys have not seen before. It's from that awkward period of SpongeBob where it just wasn't as popular as it used to be, but at least it's very popular again right now. Anyways though, like I said, the episode is All That Glitters, and here are some funny clips from this episode, and then we'll get right into the mistake.
I gave up everything for you!
Au revoir, peasants! Have fun laboring in your greasy spoon!
All right, you know what time it is. It's time to become detectives and put our, our mistake-finding glasses on. Cause it's mistake time, baby. Roll that footage.
Replacement spatula? How could anything ever replace? Hey, look at that!
Yeah, this one's very strange. So, when SpongeBob says, hey, look at that, if you look very closely, his red tie just completely goes missing. It's so weird seeing his pants like this. Normally they look like this, obviously, as you know. So there just being no tie looks so strange. Like, get my boy his tie back.
Proper drying of the hands is every bit as important as the Guess we closed early today.
Alrighty, we've got another episode. This one is Say Aw from season 13. And I'm just gonna straight up say it. This episode is kind of bad in my opinion. The pacing's just like really off. It's just very, very random. But what's really important here are all of the mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one. Okay, so this right here is Incidental 6. All right, and normally Incidental 6 has these like thin black feet, okay? They look like this. Don't ask me why I care about a fish's feet, okay?
All right, you brain-dead barnacles!
Aww, so cute.
Now, here's the problem. At the beginning of this episode, when we see Incidental 6, as Plankton is just locked and loaded, he's like dual wielding, look at him. More importantly though, look at Incidental 6, as they drew his feet with like regular feet instead of how they normally look. And now this wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? Like they can change his feet if they want to. The problem is as this episode progresses, his feet go back to normal. Look, his feet go back to the like regular thin black line feet. So it's just weird that at the beginning of the episode, his feet look like this. And then in literally the exact same episode, his feet just entirely change design. It's funny because this also happens with Incidental 3. I don't need to play clips for this, but if you look at Incidental 3 at first, this is how his feet look. They're like normal, but then in other scenes, his feet go back to normal. So it's like, it's just a weird bit of continuity. Very strange, and the strangeness gets even weirder, if that made any sense. Here's mistake number 2 from Say Aw. Alright, so speaking of the scene where Squidward gets eaten by QT, there's a mistake in this scene itself. So, when we first see Incidental 87, this grandma right here, she is wearing no glasses, okay? She has no glasses on, and it doesn't look like she's got pockets either to be storing them anywhere, okay? Here's the issue though, after QT, this thing right here, devours Squidward, Incidental 87 can now randomly be seen wearing her glasses right before running away. So I don't know where her glasses came from. Maybe she's storing them somewhere, but I do think this was a continuity error where at first they drew her without glasses, despite the fact that she always wears glasses in like every other episode. And then they remembered and gave her glasses as she runs away. I don't know, but this is a mistake, guys.
What in the name of money are you waiting for, boy?
Next up, we have a banger of an episode, Patty Hype. This episode is all about SpongeBob making these new things called Pretty Patties. I want one. Comment if you'd eat one of these. Well, actually, if you know what happens at the end of the episode, you might not want to eat one. But anyways, what we want to do is dive into this episode's 3 mistakes. That's right, 3 mistakes in one episode. Here's the first one. Roll the footage.
Buddy, I don't care how much you want your pretty patty. You're gonna have to wait in the line like the rest of us.
I never had A line?
Yeah, this one's hilarious, okay? So in the long line here of people waiting to get a Pretty Patty, like Pretty Patties become very popular in this episode, we can see all of these incidentals, and all of them are very poorly drawn, but that's not the mistake here. If we look at this incidental in particular, incidental 63, his shirt is just entirely transparent and uncolored. Like if you look through his shirt, you can see the sand. Like look at the sand they're standing on, you can see through his shirt and see the background. So they were too lazy to even color in his shirt and they just left it transparent. Look at all the other incidentals too. They're so poorly and crudely drawn, but whatever. 2D animation's hard. This dude not having a shirt though is rough. And here's another mistake from this episode.
I don't believe it! I gotta see this for myself!
Hey, watch it, buddy.
Now this one's a weird one. It's very easy to miss, but a part of Mr. Krabs' claw seems to overlap with the enter sign when we see him fall after hitting the back of the line. I'm gonna play it in slow motion, and yeah, that shouldn't happen. Weird mistake here, and here's another one from Patty Hype. Like I said, 3 mistakes in one episode, damn.
Pretty Patties turn my face purple! Look what I got under me kilt! And look at our tongues!
This one takes place at the ending of the episode, and like I said in the intro, you might not want to eat a Pretty Patty as it has some bad side effects. For example, this guy right here, this Scotsman version of Fred, because he ate a plaid Pretty Patty, it resulted in his legs turning plaid. But there's actually a major mistake in this scene. When we first see the Scotsman version of Fred before he pulls up his kilt, we can literally see his legs, and they're the normal color, like you can see them right here, and his legs are not plaid. But then once he pulls up his kilt, they just change to being plaid, which is a major mistake here. His legs should have been plaid the entire time, not only when he pulls up the kilt. Like, what? Crazy mistake. Let's keep it moving though, guys. The mistakes coming up are going to blow your mind, so stay tuned. Let's head over to another episode. Next up, we have a pretty overrated episode in my opinion. The episode is A Life in a Day, and this episode is all about Patrick becoming like infatuated with how much of a daredevil Larry is. Larry's always doing stuff like this. And yeah, Patrick wants to do crazy stuff like that as well. He wants to be a daredevil. Anyways though, we're here for mistakes. Let's dive right into them, roll that footage, and try to point out this mistake in the comments before I come back in and break it down. All right, roll that footage.
3, 2, 1, lift up!
Did you guys catch it? This one's very, very interesting. It happens at the ending of the episode. So what happens is SpongeBob and Patrick go to do this stunt where they're gonna get launched off of this huge arrow. And when we see them on the arrow, at first, SpongeBob is wearing his iconic beach suit. He's not wearing his square pants. Remember this, he's wearing his beach suit. However, later when an upper view close-up is shown of Patrick scared and SpongeBob screaming woo, SpongeBob was having a blast. SpongeBob's regular clothes, like his square pants, are briefly seen on him instead. But then in the next shot, when the arrow is fully shown again, SpongeBob is back to wearing his beach suit. So some major continuity errors here. First he's in his beach suit, then for a couple of seconds he's in his regular outfit, and then he goes right back to his beach suit, and I highly doubt our square boy over here changed his outfit in the middle of a scene. This was a mistake, and guys, we've got more mistakes like this. Let's head over to another episode. Real quick though, just saying, make sure to subscribe as I respond to the comments of all subscribers. So if you click subscribe right now and leave a comment, I'll respond for sure within the next like 2 days, so do it. Let's talk. For now though, let's get back to mistakes, baby. Let's keep it going.
You're right, Patrick.
Have I ever not been right? You're a man now.
Next up, we have one of my favorite episodes. This episode really brings me back in time to when I was little Corey. The episode is Grandma's Kisses. And I mean, come on, you guys know this episode. For those who don't, it's all about SpongeBob being embarrassed because he loves his grandma. You can blame Squidward though, like this dude was roasting him in the beginning of the episode. But anyways, we're here for mistakes. There's 3 in this episode. Here's the first one.
Hold still, hold still.
So this one's subtle, but it's still a pretty bad mistake. But when the scene zooms out after Patrick bites his finger in the clips you guys just saw, if we look at the very bottom of the screen or the bottom of the frame, Patrick's body cuts off. And boy oh boy does it look really awkward. You can see his body's supposed to go all the way down and cover the entire frame, but there was a little mistake here. Not that big of a deal, but at the same time, like, Patrick, you're missing your whole bottom half, buddy. I hope you're okay. Here's a much worse mistake though, guys. And here's a hint. I'm showing a PNG of him. Pay attention to this character right here, Incidental 31.
Brother.
No! Especially if you're a big baby!
Did you guys catch it? So, in the first shot, Incidental 31 is this color right here, all right? Remember this? He looks like this. But then when we see him again in the second shot, he's now randomly violet. But then in the following shot, they go back to the original color and they're like this bluish color again. So first, they're the bluish color, then they turned violet, and then they turned back to the bluish color. Massive mistake here. And it all happens in a matter of seconds, dude. Like, what? Here's another one, though.
Fresh baked cookies. Story time. A sweater with love in every stitch. Oh, what am I waiting for? Grandma!
Okay, so I might have covered this one before, so to any longtime viewers, I apologize. But after SpongeBob says, "What am I waiting for?" at the very beginning of the episode, before he runs to his grandmother's house, both his tie and collar fold are missing from his shirt. I don't think I need to explain this, but here's a PNG of SpongeBob, and as you guys know, he always has this collar fold in his tie, but in this one shot, it's just missing, and it looks really, really weird. Not as weird as the mistakes in this next episode, though. Let's keep it rolling. The season 6 episode, Krabby Road, is one of the best episodes from season 6. That season is rough, dude. It has some really bad moments, but Krabby Road is pretty good. Here are some really funny moments from the episode. We'll get into the mistakes right after.
You didn't notice my new hairdo.
1, 2, 3.
Dude, the idea of SpongeBob, Plankton, and just everybody starting a band is hilarious, and some of their outfits is just so funny. Look at Plankton, he looks like a classic rocker. Anyways, though, it's mistake time, baby. Let's get into these mistakes.
Big dream body.
So this first one is a nitpick. It's technically a mistake though still, but let's take a look at SpongeBob's house, okay? From any other episode. This is how it looks, okay? Pay attention to the door and the size of the door. Well, in Krabby Road, take a look at SpongeBob's house again, as what in the world is going on with his door? It's like almost half the size of the house. Again, for reminder, look at this shot of his house from literally any other episode. It doesn't look like that. In this episode though, it's just really weird. That door is massive, and it's totally a mistake. It never looks like this, dude. Like, this one is just so strange. That is a big door. Here's another big mistake from this episode, though. This one's spicy.
Give me that, you incompetent fool! Yes, the Krabby Patty formula is mine! We'll have a great time!
I have no idea how I caught this mistake, but listen closely. So when Plankton unlocks the door to the Krusty Krab, take a look at the key. That key is horizontal, as you can see right here, all right? It's horizontal. But as the scene progresses and we see the key again, now it's vertical. At first it was horizontal, now it's vertical, which is an understandable continuity error, but it's still a weird one. Lots of weird mistakes in this episode, huh? Like, they're not the normal types of mistakes we normally cover. These ones are just weird, like the door being huge.
SpongeBob, you gotta try this!
Squidward Tentacles is quite the egomaniac. I don't blame him. He has to deal with a lot of nonsense, which kind of makes him want attention from other people and acknowledgement from other people for being good at things, I guess, even though he's really bad at clarinet, low-key. So just imagine how this guy would act if he had his own show. Well, this is exactly what happens in the episode Tentacle Vision, an episode with a ton of mistakes. So here's the first one. Roll that clip. This one takes place at the ending of the episode, when SpongeBob plays the piano during Squidward's house party. It's very easy to miss, but if you look closely, one of his top right pores turns black for a split second, which obviously is not very healthy, SpongeBob, but is also a mistake, totally a mistake. It's only for a split second and then it goes right back to normal, but it looks so weird with him having this black pore. Here's another one from the same episode. This one is pretty bad.
All of the most intelligent programming starts before 5 a.m.
This one's from the beginning of the episode, but when Squidward first takes the remote, we can see that this remote has a red button on it right here, all right? Remember the red button. However, in the very next scene, literally seconds later, when we see this same remote again, that same button that was red is now just black, and all the buttons are black, making for a hilarious mistake. Next up, we have a season 6 episode, Krusty Crushers, and to be honest, this episode's kind of mixed. The community is like very mixed on it. There's some people that hate this episode, and there's some people that don't think it's too bad. I personally think it's a pretty good episode, and here are some funny clips from it, specifically showcasing the iron butt. It's very funny.
Oh no, not iron butts.
Okay, mistake time. I mean, like, come on, it's what you guys clicked on the video for. Here are the mistakes from this episode.
Look! I'm up!
Helicopter!
Okay, so this one's actually very similar to a mistake we already kind of covered today, but during these scenes where they're in the ring, SpongeBob and Patrick are wearing like their wrestling outfits, all right? Remember this, SpongeBob in particular is who we really need to pay attention to because he's wearing his wrestling uniform. But then seconds later, when we see Patrick and SpongeBob spinning in the air and they're about to get shredded into pieces, ouch, SpongeBob is randomly wearing his regular clothes despite being in his wrestling uniform. And then once this part ends, he's right back into his wrestling uniform. So he's in his wrestling uniform, then they forgot and drew him in his regular outfit for like a couple of seconds, and then he went right back to his wrestling uniform. Sounds familiar, right? Very similar to that last one we covered, and it's bad. This shouldn't be happening. It's a continuity error. And believe it or not, I've got another one from Krusty Crushers. Roll that footage, please.
Oh, come on!
Oh, I got a paper cut! Oh,
Patrick, are you okay?
I'll admit, I'm kind of nitpicking on this one, but it's still technically a mistake. But at one point in this episode, as you guys saw, Patrick gets a paper cut. Poor Patrick. Now, when he cuts his finger, let's take a look. Which arm does he cut, all right? Which arm does he cut, guys? This one right here, his right arm. Here's the problem, though. When Patrick goes to, like, suck on the cut or, like, soothe it, he sucks on his left hand. But why would he be doing it to his left hand when we literally seen him cut his right hand? Like, this one's ridiculous. I don't know how the animator made a mistake here. I don't know why he's putting his left hand in his mouth. It's his right. Then again, Patrick isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, if you know what I'm saying, so I don't know.
Why are we hanging around watching a cheap imitation? Let's get over there!
Next up, we have a very underrated season 2 episode, The Smoking Peanut, and let's just get right into the mistakes. Here's the first one.
The oyster's a mother, and that pearl's no pearl, it's an egg.
Did you guys catch it? Well, when SpongeBob remarks on how the pearl is actually an egg, there's something up with his belt, guys. Yeah, if we look right here, this part of his belt is just not filled in. It's funny because like the rest of his belt is filled in, but this one part here is not colored correctly, making for a mistake. And we've got more. Here's another spicy one from The Smoking Peanut.
I'd better go see Sandy. She'll know what to do.
Aw, I can't stand it anymore. That poor critter.
Okay, so while SpongeBob is running to Sandy's tree dome saying, "I'll ask Sandy, she'll know what to do," we can see a bubble transition start. And if we pause at the right frame, look, we can see this blue card from Rough Draft Korea. And you know, I've explained this before, so I'm not gonna go too crazy right here, but to those that are new to the channel, here's some context. Back in the day, SpongeBob was animated by Rough Draft Korea. A lot of people think it was animated in America with Nickelodeon, but the show was actually animated overseas in South Korea. And this is a common mistake that will happen sometimes between the bubble transitions, where this blue card saying Rough Draft Korea can be seen, and this should not be here. This is a mistake, and it's a bad one. Like I said, though, it's pretty common, so I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys have heard about this type of mistake many times. So let's head over to another episode and talk about a very spicy mistake that you haven't seen before. Let's do it.
Opted, he'll have to be locked up, like Butcher.
Don't worry, sir. I'll train him.
Next up, we have a season 13 episode, some modern SpongeBob for you guys, which is very hit or miss. A lot of people like to harp on about like modern SpongeBob, but it's really not that bad. We gotta remember the show is primarily for kids and teenagers, so it cracks me up whenever I see like old people like me complaining about modern SpongeBob. It's like, bro. Anyways, though, the episode is Pat the Dog. This is a really good season 13 episode in my opinion. It's silly but fun. And here's the mistake. We've never covered this one before, and it's really bad.
I brought you a playmate. Meow.
Okay, like I said, this one is really bad. So in the clip you guys just seen, we see Gary come in with the plate and he has his snail food in a cup. And what's really important here is if we pause and we look in the background, we can see the doors open a little bit right here, and we can see the wallpaper in the room he was coming from. It's like green with like bluish dots. It's this pattern right here. But then after Gary sees Patrick and begins to tweak out, look at the room that he came from now. Look at the wallpaper. It is entirely different. And this all happened in a matter of seconds. Like, who had the time to repaint the walls? No one did. This is a mistake. Like, here's a side-by-side, and yeah, this one's really bad. Not a single normal person would notice it while watching the episode, to be honest. I'm just a massive nerd. But yeah, mistake. Really good one, and let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. Also, a quick reminder, by the way, I respond to the comments of all subscribers, so if you click subscribe right now and leave a comment, it'll show me in YouTube Studio, and I'll respond for sure within the next 3 days. I'll admit I have been slacking on this lately, so I'll be on top of it. If you comment on this video and subscribe, I'll respond for sure. Anyways, though, let's keep it moving and head over to another episode.
It was silly to think I could be in 3 places at once.
So just step into the Proto-Generator 2000.
Next up is another episode from season 6, that being Overbooked. This episode is all about SpongeBob being, well, overbooked. The dude just doesn't have time for anything. It seems though that the animators also didn't have time, as they overlooked a couple of mistakes in this episode that I'm about to expose. Roll the footage.
Happy birthday!
You finally made it!
Alright, so when Patrick's rock first opens in this scene, take a look at his party hat, okay? It's red. You can see it right here. Remember, it's red. However, in the next scene, this randomly changes. Like, coloring mistakes like this are hilarious when it just randomly changes. As it was red, but his party hat now changes to purple. Like, what? What's going on here? Like, how does it just change colors randomly? That looks like lazy animation to me, and that's not it for this episode. Here's another mistake.
The telescope!
Without further delay, I shall initiate proto-sequence.
Sandy, I hate to delay the proceedings, but,
This next one is just bad. Like, I don't know how any animator that understands SpongeBob and its characters could make this mistake. As you guys know, take a look at these shots of Sandy Cheeks. Our girl Sandy has a big furry tail. It's a big part of her character because she's a squirrel and squirrels have tails, right? Well, in Overbooked, the animators forgot about this, as when Sandy says, without further delay, I shall initiate the proto-sequence, her tail is missing. And it's not because of the angle, they just were too lazy to draw Sandy Cheeks' tail. Give my girl her tail back, she needs it. And guys, there's another mistake in this episode. Roll the footage.
Hey, cake!
oh yeah, that! I'm just getting to that. That's why I was here in town. Yeah, forget your birthday cake.
It's really easy to miss, like very easy to miss, but before SpongeBob walks away to get a cake, man, now I want cake, guys. I'm hungry. Cake is so good. But as he walks away to get a cake, take a look at his left leg, as it's entirely white for a split second. I mean, don't get me wrong, SpongeBob's socks are supposed to be white, but his leg is supposed to be yellow. So this was another just really bad mistake. This episode's pretty rough in terms of mistakes, guys, but let's keep it moving and head over to another episode with even more spicy mistakes. You don't want to miss them. Next up is the season 11 episode, Bottle Burglars, and let's dive right into it. Here's the first mistake from this episode.
Wearing.
I'm a cat burglar. Okay, I'll change.
This one is like really bad. This is a rough mistake and I have no idea how the animators missed it. But when SpongeBob takes off the cat burglar suit, take a look at Squidward's nose. As for some reason, it's behind his mouth for a single frame. Like, what? How did this happen? Look at how weird that looks. Hey, it's only for one frame, but Squidward, I hope you're okay, buddy. Your nose is not supposed to look like that. Anyways, though, here's another mistake. Take a look at this.
Good morning, Krusty Crew. Ready to cook up a new magic Krabby Patties?
Were you guys able to catch it? Well, when SpongeBob and Squidward are walking towards Mr. Krabs in front of the Krusty Krab right here in this scene, take a look at Squidward's hat as there's some miscoloring going on here. Throughout the episode, this is how it normally looks on Squidward's head. As you can see, it's black with like a gray brim, I guess. It's right here, I'm zooming in. But during this one scene at the end of the episode, Squidward's hat, more specifically the rim, is like the same color as his skin, which was definitely some sort of animation or coloring glitch or error here. I mean, look at that. It's not a big deal, but it's still a mistake. And guys, we've got plenty of more mistakes in this video, so stay tuned. Some crazy mistakes are coming up.
Now, where do you keep your meager allotment of playthings?
Oh, over here in the vault.
Vault.
This next one's going to be quick. It's from the season 13 episode, The Big Bad Bubble Bass, which I will say is a pretty good episode. Go give it a watch after you're done watching this video, of course. But yeah, let's get right into it. Here's the mistake.
I said hand over Pigulon.
Alright, so context. This right here is a shot of Conch Street, alright? The iconic street that SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward all live in. And if we look at Patrick's house, it always has this path right here. It looks like this, it's right here. If we even go back to season 1 and just look at a screenshot from season 1, we'll see the path is still right there. It's a part of Patrick's rock home. I don't know why the dude wants to live in a rock, but he lives in a rock and it has a path. But in this episode, there are so many shots where that path is just completely missing. It does reappear when Mama Bass, Bubble Bass's mother, drives to Squidward's house, but look at all of these shots where the path is just missing. And here's a side-by-side, the path should be right here because it's always right here in the example shot. So yeah, interesting mistake. And here's another one from the Big Bad Bubble Bass.
Not Pigulon's precious packaging!
Alright, this one's weird, but when Bubble Bass screams as Patrick rips open the Pulgin package, it's Pigulin, it's like the figure, it's one of the figures he collects because Bubble Bass collects figures. But anyways, when Patrick opens it, if you look closely, the ground near Bubble Bass's feet actually overlaps with Patrick's arm, which makes no sense. Like, look at this, it looks so weird.
Just hook a chain to it, pop it in your mouth, and then when your sponge friend wants it back, just yank it out.
Next up, we have the episode, The Donut of Shame. Another underrated episode. This episode is also way shorter than any other episode, with it only being like 7 minutes long. Nonetheless, it ain't a bad episode, but let's get right into the mistakes. It's what we're here for.
Hey, Patrick! Donut! You monster!
Alright, did you guys catch it? There's one mistake, and this one's pretty blatant, like I'm sure you guys caught it. But when Patrick is imagining SpongeBob walking and stepping on the donut hidden under the rug, which was a terrible idea to begin with, SpongeBob's nose for about a split second just turns white. It's so random, it goes back to normal, but for this 1 second, it looks like SpongeBob was hanging out with Larry the Lobster earlier. Like, it looks like Larry the Lobster put all the sunscreen on his face, like back in that episode, I think it's from season 1 or 2, where he puts sunscreen on SpongeBob. But anyways, mistake. Our next episode is Texas, such a good episode from that golden SpongeBob era. Nothing touches Steven Hillenburg. I don't think the show has gotten as bad as some people like to claim. Like, a lot of people like to just act like modern SpongeBob is terrible. When it isn't, you've just grown up and modern SpongeBob is still for kids, it's not for you. But I can't deny that that Steven Hillenburg run was amazing, and Texas is a good example. So to be honest, I actually feel kind of bad exposing these mistakes, but I gotta do it.
Bob! Look, Patrick, I'm Texas. Howdy, y'all.
I'm Texas, too.
Howdy, y'all.
Get a dog, little Arnie.
Now this one isn't that big of a deal, and I'm a nerd for even catching it, to be honest, but right before SpongeBob and Patrick start walking around in a circle, if we look closely at SpongeBob, it seems that he has two bottom lip outlines. Here's a PNG of SpongeBob. He normally has one of these right here. Like I said, it's supposed to represent his bottom lip. But yeah, if we look at this frame from Texas, yeah, SpongeBob has two bottom lip outlines when he's only supposed to have one. Not a huge deal, but it is a mistake. And come on, guys, you know that's not it. I got more. Let's head over to another episode. And this is where things get serious, okay, guys? This is where things get spicy.
I'm crossing over to the dark side.
Why should I waste money lighting the whole store?
Let's kick things off with a banger. How about one of the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes? We'll do Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Part 5. Just saying rest in peace to the voice actors because they're legendary. I do feel bad because we're gonna expose some mistakes. Here's the first one, and let's see if you guys can catch it without my help. I'm gonna reveal and explain the mistake, but before I reveal it, try to comment it if you guys catch it. All right, roll the footage.
Name their new alliance. Every villain is Lemons, otherwise known as evil.
Come on, I know you guys caught this one because this one is blatant. I don't know how Nickelodeon staff or Rough Draft Korea, the people who animate SpongeBob, did not catch this one. But to be fair, the episode's like over 20 years old, so. But anyways, in the Every Villain is Lemons TV sequence, look, the word villain is incorrectly spelt. Villain is supposed to be spelt as V-I-L-L-A-I-N, but they got it a little mixed up in this shot right here. I wonder how many kids went on to think that this is how you spell villain. It's a funny mistake, but here's one that's a lot more spicy from the same episode. Roll the footage.
I don't.
Oh, yes, you do. No world means no money. Now, go save the world, or you're fired.
You guys are legends if you caught this, but when Mr. Krabs is talking to Squidward in the clips you guys just saw and says no world means no money, look, his right arm is missing. It's kind of an awkward shot, which justifies it a little bit, but they still should have drawn dude's arm, especially if Mr. Krabs wants to be counting all that money, money, money. He needs those arms, so yeah. Here's another mistake from Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Part 5, and this one's a lot worse.
Need a hand? Super pal.
This one's closer to the ending of the episode. It's actually in the very final scene when Barnacle Boy says need a hand super pal and reunites with his best bud Mermaid Man. So nice. If you look closely, his mask, the side parts of his mask turn to the same color as his skin for this one frame, which is majorly incorrect. That's not supposed to be the same color as his skin. To be fair, it's only for one frame, but I mean, come on, man, it's still a mistake. And believe it or not, I've got one more from this episode.
Nothing will stop me from defeating the evil! Nothing!
Did you guys catch that one? If not, don't worry, Cartoon Corey's got you covered. So, when Mermaid Man says that he will fight the evil after the news report plays, it seems that one of his suspenders cuts off before reaching his shoulder, as you can see right here. Maybe Mermaid Man needs to lay off the Krabby Patties. He might be getting too big for that seashell bra he's wearing. Anyways, though, let's head over to another episode, guys, with more mistakes, and trust me, you do not want to miss these ones. This episode almost got canceled because of the mistakes.
Oh no! Your bathroom is a disaster. Get it cleaned up fast with the new sponge.
Next up, we have the Season 7 episode Model Sponge, which I actually personally like. SpongeBob starts to think he's like a famous actor in the episode. Well, actually, SpongeBob thinks that he's gonna become a famous actor. It doesn't actually go that way. He actually gets used to clean the sink. Anyways, though, we're here for mistakes. Here's the first one, and it is weird. Be prepared.
I am a fry cook. That's what I am, and that's what I've always been. I'm sorry to waste your time, mister.
It happens really, really fast, so I cannot blame you guys if you didn't catch it, but when SpongeBob says in the clips you guys just saw, I'm sorry to waste your time, mister, his normally gray spatula that's literally always gray in every other episode randomly turns yellow for a split second. Like, what? For this one, it's just confusing. I don't know if it's a layering issue. I don't really know what happened here. Maybe they originally drew it yellow and then realized it was supposed to be gray and fixed it in post. But for one frame they slipped up. I don't know. But stay tuned because the next mistake we're going to be covering from this next episode is going to blow your brain. Let's do it.
SpongeBob.
Okay, I'll tell ya.
Your order, ma'am.
I'm not using my hands because today is Work Without Your Hands Day.
Some of my favorite SpongeBob episodes are the ones that have to do with King Neptune. He's a cool character and he always has something interesting to say. His son though, Triton, now that's a whole different story. Next up we've got the Clash of Triton, which is all about King Neptune's son, who's like a spoiled brat actually. Enough about all that though, we're here for mistakes, it's what you guys clicked on this video for, so here's the first one.
Oh, let's go home, son.
Okay, so this right here is Queen Amphitrite. I might have said it incorrectly, but she does come from Greek mythology, just saying. But yeah, this is her design from SpongeBob. I'm showing a PNG here, and as you can see on her belt right here, she has a seahorse on it right here. Remember this as it's very important, as if we watch closely in the clips I just showed you guys, when she's about to close this door of the carriage after Neptune and Triton return, look, the seahorse I just mentioned has vanished from her belt. Now, it's most likely due to this scene and how it's animated, but it should still be there despite this. Like, it's like the animators were just too lazy to draw it in this one shot, which can be excused, but this next error, not so much.
What is going on in here?
This one was actually very hard to find, but in the scene you guys just saw where Neptune opens the door to Triton's room, if we watch very closely, Triton's skin, specifically between his vest and his belt, turns red. Here's another shot of him from the same episode where that part is not red. So in this scene when the doors open for Triton's room and that part of his skin is red, it is totally a mistake, guys, and a rough one. And here's another one from this episode. I'd say it's even worse, to be honest. Roll the footage.
Party decorations for what? So it's my old man's birthday. I am. Fingernails, man!
You're right.
So it takes place in the scenes where SpongeBob first meets Triton when he's in the cage. And if we look at this lock right here, it actually changes multiple times. This is how it looks at first. Then it changes to this. There are these shots where it has like no art on it. And there's even one shot where it's solved before it's actually supposed to be solved. So very messy scene right here. This lock changes multiple times and that is a mistake. And guys, if you thought these were bad, you will not believe the ones coming up in our next episode. Let's keep it moving.
Hold on. Did you hear that? It sounds like despair.
Let's expose some more mistakes in the episode Single Cell Anniversary from season 6. It isn't necessarily the best episode, but it's one of the few episodes to actually focus on the marriage of Plankton and Karen, which is cool. I like when we get more episodes that build the world of SpongeBob and Bikini Bottom, but I'm being a nerd and we're here for mistakes. So here's the first one, and let's see if you guys can spot it before I reveal it. Try to comment the mistake before I actually tell you. All right, got it? Roll the footage.
Percent loaded. How do you turn this thing off?
Did you guys catch it? Well, don't worry, Cartoon Corey's going to explain. So, when SpongeBob attempts to Control-Alt-Delete Karen, he literally tries to kill Karen and delete her, we can see that the keyboard keys that he uses are white, alright? Remember this is a white keyboard, alright? And it should stay white for this entire episode. Well, plot twist, that isn't what happens, as when Karen begins to short circuit, look, those white keys are now suddenly red, making for a wacky continuity error, like the keys of a keyboard don't randomly change color, guys. The animators originally drew them as white and then forgot and drew them as red, which is a mistake. And we've got another one from this episode. Let's keep it rolling.
You done to my daughter. You made her cry. You know, she could have been with an ATM. Someone with money. But she chose you. I don't know why.
Mistake number 2 is actually pretty simple. You know this is a very common mistake in SpongeBob, but canonically speaking, the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket are directly across from each other. Here's one example of this, and here's another example of this. Heck, here's even a third example so you guys know I'm not capping, right? The Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket are directly across from another, and there's a path that connects them. Well, near the ending of this episode's Single Cell Anniversary, when the camera zooms out of the Chum Bucket, look, the pathway to the Krusty Krab is missing. Hey, this is a lot better than before. There are times where like they don't even draw the Krusty Krab, but at least this time it's just the path. However, though, it is still a sneaky little mistake. I got you, Nickelodeon, I caught it. We still ain't done yet though. Let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. Things are really gonna get spicy from here.
Violin!
Whew. Now my house can withstand anything nature has to throw at us.
I guess Squidward's not part of nature.
This is another nitpick, so I'm gonna make it very quick. It's in the episode Pineapple Fever. I'm gonna roll the clip and let's see if you guys can catch it. It has to do with this book that SpongeBob's reading, all right? Roll that footage. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Congratulations, Squidward.
Did you guys catch it? This one's kind of a tricky one. All right, so this tic-tac-toe rules book that SpongeBob is reading, all right? If you look closely, the title of the book is on the right side of the book, which is incorrect. It should be on the left. This is how a normal book looks, guys. And based on how you would read a book, where you're turning each page to the left, the title of a book would be on the left side of it. SpongeBob isn't reading manga over here. My boy ain't reading the new chapter of Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, this is technically a mistake. I'm being a total nerd, but still technically a mistake. And let's head over to an episode with some good mistakes.
You have no idea what day tomorrow is, do you?
None at all.
It's my 16th birthday!
I knew that!
You know, Mr. Krabs is a very, very greedy father, all right? But at the same time, Pearl is kind of a spoiled brat at times, all right? She's very entitled, but again, to be fair, her dad does, like, suck. Like, look at this clip where Mr. Krabs tries to give Pearl ketchup and crackers and calls it pizza.
Here, would your friends like some pizza? You can have your allowance early.
Ketchup!
See, you put it on the crackers. Gotta want a spicy pizza pie.
Yeah, this man is a cheapskate, and this is definitely the case in the episode Whale of a Birthday, where Mr. Krabs sends SpongeBob to get Pearl a present, just he doesn't want to spend a ton of money. At least he's not getting her squeaky boots this time. Now, this episode has a few mistakes. Here's the first one. Let's dive right in.
It's Billy Fishkin! Hi, Billy!
Meep. Oh, isn't he dreamy?
This first one's pretty simple, but it's still pretty bad at the same time. So when Pearl and her friends meet Billy Fishkins over here, and we get this shot while facing in front, for about one frame, her heart lipstick just disappears. It's only for a single frame, so I mean it's not that big of a deal, plus this is a 2D animated cartoon. But hey, don't shoot the messenger, I'm just reporting the mistake and this is a mistake. And here's another one from the same episode.
Sea Pony is the cutest thing ever! Do you want to come home and be my pony?
Now, this one is actually really bad, and it's also pretty weird at the same time. I have no idea how something like this happened. As you guys saw in the clips, Pearl and her friends are at the mall, and in this scene, she looks at the sea pony. Now, in the first shot, it shows the dog fish tank right next to it, all right? It's two separate, like, tanks beside each other. Remember this, I know I'm over-explaining it, but two separate tanks with animals in them beside each other, with a clear separation of the two tanks. However, though, a few seconds later, and now look, it's completely transformed, and now it's one tank, with the sea pony sharing it with the dogfish. So like I said, this one's really bad. First they drew it like this, and then forgot, because seconds later they draw it like this. Like, what? I have no clue how this happened, but what can you do, guys? Actually, what we can do is head over to another episode with more mistakes.
Hey, Squidward, we blew a fuse.
I'm gonna blow a fuse if you don't get that order up.
Next up, we have the inside job. So I'm totally nitpicking with this one, so I'm going to make it quick. And don't worry, guys, the other mistakes we're going to be covering are actually good. But in the episode, the inside job, there's this mistake. Roll the footage.
So cheesy.
Did you guys catch it? Well, as you guys can see, Plankton's inside SpongeBob's body and we can see his heart. But it should be doing something that it isn't doing in this shot, and that's beating. A heart is constantly beating. That's how, you know, you stay alive. So again, like I said, I'm nitpicking, but the heart not beating in this one shot is technically a mistake. You guys know Cartoon Corey loves his classic episodes. We'll be doing No Weenies Allowed. And I know if you're an old school SpongeBob fan, you know this episode. It's the one where SpongeBob becomes desperate to get into the salty spittoon after Sandy's allowed and he's not allowed. To be honest, I'd be pretty cheesed about that too. Like, your girl gets in, but you can't get in. Anyways though, here's the first mistake, and let's see if you guys can catch it without my help. Try to comment the mistake before I actually reveal it, all right? Roll that footage.
Sandy? Oh, what happened?
You ran inside and slipped out an ice cube.
Okay, did you guys catch it? If not, Cartoon Corey's got you covered. As you can see in these shots of Sandy right here, she is a squirrel and she has a tail. It's a big part of her design because, you know, she's a squirrel. But there are two scenes in this episode where her tail just was not drawn for some strange reason. They're both when they're in the ambulance. There's this shot right here that's more of a zoomed out shot, and as you can see, her tail is gone. This one's especially bad because of how zoomed out it is. And the second is this shot, which is a little more excusable. It's more zoomed in, and maybe because of the angle, you just can't see it. But either way, we should be able to see her tail in both of these shots, and this was a little goof on the animator's end. Anyways though, let's head over to another episode, and this is where things are really gonna get spicy, so stay tuned.
I went out and dug one up.
Where did you get this old thing?
She looks so peaceful.
But wasn't she wearing a hat?
We're jumping over to season 5 for this next one. The episode is Enemy-in-Law, and this episode is all about Plankton falling in love with Mr. Krabs' mom. I'd be so upset. My arch rival starts trying to rizz up my mother. That would be a scrap. But anyways, here's the first mistake.
I've reservations for 2.
Your gentleman caller.
You guys may have noticed, but when Plankton walks into the Krusty Krab with a rose for Mr. Krabs' mom, there is a burger sticker on the window right here. We're circling it, we're zooming in. Remember, this burger sticker right here. Now, it should be here for the remainder of the episode. However, once Plankton gets inside of the restaurant, look, that sticker has just magically disappeared randomly. Weird. Here's mistake number 2.
Eugene!
All you love is thieving and conniving. Now stop trying to get the formula out of me, mother!
This one's more of a strange one, but when Mr. Krabs barges into the chum bucket in anger, some scenes show these red pipes on the wall right here. Remember them, they should be here for the entire scene. But in some shots where we see the exact same wall, which should have those red pipes, they're not there. So the animators drew the red pipes at first, and then in some shots just were too lazy to draw them again. Not a huge deal, but definitely a mistake. And guys, stay tuned because these next set of mistakes we're gonna be covering are going to blow your mind.
That was close.
It sure was. I almost didn't catch this bus.
Next up, let's head over to season 12 and talk about a fairly good episode that I personally enjoyed, that being Squid on a Bus, which, I mean, the title's pretty self-explanatory for this one, guys. It's about Squidward taking the bus. It's a good episode, but like most episodes of SpongeBob, it does have 3 mistakes hidden in it, and these mistakes are really, really bad, guys. Here's mistake number 1.
Where's that bus? I've been waiting for almost an hour.
So in the opening of the episode, Squidward appears to be wearing a watch on his right wrist, right? You can see it right here. I'm zooming in on it. But seconds later, when the bus door opens, Squidward's watch is just missing now. I doubt the dude took it off to go in the bus. What I think happened is in this first shot right here, the animators drew him with a watch, but then the animators forgot about the watch because in this scene, the watch is just gone. Poof, it went missing. And that's not the only thing missing in the beginning of the episode, as there's another mistake that's kind of similar to this one. Roll the footage again.
I've been waiting for almost an hour.
Almost an hour, he says.
Did ya catch it? Well, take a look at this shot of Conch Street right here. As you can see, it goes Patrick's house, Squidward's house, and then good old SpongeBob's house right here, that old-fashioned pineapple house. Now I'm hungry. But in that opening scene, where is SpongeBob's house? It should be right there. You could say that, you know, it just wasn't on the screen, but the distance between Squidward's house and SpongeBob's house is not that wide, and I'm pretty sure the animators were just feeling kind of lazy in this scene and didn't draw SpongeBob's house, which is still technically a mistake. But wait, there's more. Here's mistake number 3. Let's see if you guys can catch this one. Man, 3 mistakes in one episode is like really bad. Nickelodeon be slacking, boy. But take a look at this shot from inside the bus when the bus starts rocking. As you can see, there are passengers inside. They're chilling inside the bus. But when we get the same shot from the outside view, why is Squidward the only one on the bus? The passengers just disappeared? They're gone? Poof? Talk about a mistake, a continuity mistake, and let's keep the video moving, guys.
I'm gonna have some of your delicious peanut brittle. Where's the peanut brittle? Hey, peanut brittle! Oh, darn it!
Next up, we've got another classic banger. I'm talking about Pranks-a-Lot. I feel like this is actually an underrated older episode of SpongeBob. People don't talk about it enough. Well, I'm gonna talk about it today, but I mean, the context is kind of bad because we're gonna be exposing some mistakes. Here's the first one.
Ha! Exploding chewing gum, only $9.95.
I don't get it.
This first one is a spelling error, and it has to do with the exploding chewing gum box that this dude tries to sell to SpongeBob. Exploding chewing gum sounds insane. But anyways, it should read as exploding, so E-X-P-L-O-D-I-N-G, but instead that first O seems to be replaced with a P. It might be due to the type of writing, but I do think this was a spelling mistake. Here's mistake number 2 from this episode though.
Too late, crabs! We've already clogged all the toilets!
Please, spirits, leave!
Now, I will admit, I'm kind of weird for even noticing this or pointing it out. It just shows that I watch way too much SpongeBob. But normally, when we see the Krusty Krab washroom, all right, the toilet is covered in a stall. Like it's in a stall. The toilet isn't just sitting in the washroom. There are stalls and the toilets are in the stalls. Well, for some reason in this episode, the toilet in the Krusty Krab restroom is just in plain sight and is not hidden by a stall, which is just very random and technically a mistake. Like there should be continuity of the washroom. Is it a big deal? No, but it's still a mistake. And here's another one from this episode. This next one isn't as bad, it's more funny, like it really cracked me up, but near the ending of the episode, when the crowd is cheering at SpongeBob and Patrick, who are naked, we can see Sandy, and if you look, she whistles, but she's wearing her helmet, so this would be impossible. You wouldn't be able to whistle through the helmet because her mouth is behind the glass of the helmet, so I don't think I need to explain this one anymore. Massive mistake. Like I said though, it's more funny than anything. This next set of mistakes though aren't so funny, they're just bad.
Wear pants and star babysitters at your service.
We sit on babies!
Not literally.
Yeah, not in Italy.
Let's head over to season 12. I feel like we don't talk about season 12 enough on this channel, and to be honest, the season is full of like really good episodes. Fun fact, or well, I guess sad fact, it's actually the last season that Steven Hillenburg, the creator, worked on, but anyways, let's get into the mistakes, baby. Here's the first one. I said here's the first one, but there's only one mistake in this episode. So, as you guys seen, SpongeBob and Patrick were assigned to babysit. We can see it in this shot. There's 8 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I guess the animators forgot about there being 8 of them, as later on in the episode, during this montage of SpongeBob and Patrick babysitting, 2 babies are missing, dude. If anything, SpongeBob and Patrick should be arrested. There was 8, as you can see here, and now there's only 6, so where are the other 2? SpongeBob and Patrick need to be keeping a better eye on the babies, dude. Like that's kind of scary. I hope they're okay. Maybe it was just a mistake though, guys. Maybe they just forgot to draw the other 2 babies. So yeah, let's keep it moving to another episode. Lots of crazy mistakes coming up, so stay tuned.
Today you do the opposite.
Let me try.
Patrick, breathe.
Next up, we have a personal favorite of mine, and that's Opposite Day. This episode rocks, dude. Here's the first mistake.
He does the opposite. Opposite.
So first things first, take a look at this. This is Squidward's iconic house, all right? We've seen it thousands of times before, even back in season 1. Now, more importantly, I want you guys to focus on the ear of his house. I know that sounds kind of weird, as it looks like this, all right? And as you can see, there is no window on this ear. Well, in Opposite Day, during this one scene right here, take a look at this. As for one scene, there's randomly this like magical, random, mysterious window on Squidward's house that just doesn't really exist in any other episode. It's kind of funny, like this is how Squidward's house normally looks, and then this is how it looks in this scene, and just, yeah, that window doesn't exist.
Whoa, that's too hot! Wow!
Next up, we have a very rough episode. It's The Incredible Shrinking Sponge, which, you know, the plot of the episode is cool. SpongeBob is shrunken down and, like, has to do a bunch of stuff, but the episode itself is pretty weak. It does, of course, have some mistakes, and the one mistake we're going to be covering is actually pretty whack. Let's see if you guys can spot it. Here's a hint. It has to do with the galley grub menu. All right, roll the footage. Alright, so let's go back to season 1 for a second and take a look at the galley grub menu, more specifically how Patty in Krabby Patty is spelt. It's always spelt as P-A-T-T-Y, but one common mistake that's happened in a few episodes throughout SpongeBob's entire runtime, like the history of the show, is that sometimes Patty in Krabby Patty will be misspelt on the menu, and in this episode, The Incredible Shrinking Sponge, this happens right here. Look, Patty is weirdly spelt as P-A-T-T-I-E, which, yeah, is a massive mistake. Like, that's not how it's spelt at all. Okay, that one was kinda weak. It's still a mistake, so let's head over to another episode that actually has a good mistake in it. This one's really gonna shock you guys.
I'm gonna need to see some proof of pet.
Of course!
That's a rock.
Next up, we have another season 14 episode. The episode is Pet the Rock, and this is also a pretty good episode from season 14. With Patrick over here, our favorite starfish, getting himself a new pet rock, which is pretty cool. Also, didn't this happen before? I swear back in the like season 2 or 3 episode where they race their snails, it's like the Great Snail Race, that Patrick has a pet rock, so kind of a reference here. But we're not here for references, we're here for mistakes.
What I do?
I will admit I'm kind of nitpicking when it comes to this one, but this picture right here shows Patrick and his family from the Patrick Star Show, but it's actually missing a ton of details. Let's start with Bunny over here, all right? Because the picture of the family from Pet the Rock is missing the patterns normally seen on Bunny's clothing. The same thing with Patrick. I'm doing a side-by-side of each character, and Patrick, it's the same thing. The patterns are missing, but also Grandpat over here is missing one of his teeth. So yeah, a bit of a messy scene, but not that big of a deal. I'm kind of nitpicking. It's meant to be like a zoomed out shot of the picture, so I'm definitely over analyzing it. So let's move on to another episode with some actual crazy mistakes.
Classy new boat.
Hello, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob! You're not driving! I know, isn't it great?
Keeping on the topic of modern SpongeBob, the HD era of SpongeBob, our next episode is Drive Happy. And this one's an interesting one. It's all about SpongeBob being able to drive, but not because he got his license finally, but because he operates this self-driving car. Definitely give the episode a watch when you get a chance, but first, let's watch these mistakes. Let's expose them. Here's the first one.
All right, Coop, come on in.
So I want you to take a look at some of these shots of SpongeBob's house. And what we'll notice is that SpongeBob has a garage in the back of his house, all right? We've seen it in many episodes before. Here are some examples. But remember this, because it seems that the writer of this episode and the animators forgot about it. That or they've just never watched old school SpongeBob before. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Nickelodeon. Because at one point, SpongeBob saws a hole at the front of his house so that his car, Coop, the self-driving car, can enter and seek shelter. But this is a problem because SpongeBob literally already has a garage, so like why would he do this? Like I said, the writer of this episode needs to go back and watch old school SpongeBob because they do not know what they're talking about at all. And here's one more mistake from this episode.
Oh, that was the best day of non-driving ever.
Now this one could be a case of cartoon logic, but it's still like kind of a weird choice to be honest with you because it does highlight what could be a mistake. As you guys seen in the clips that we just played, when SpongeBob's house eventually gets this driveway right here, look, Squidward's house is missing when it should be right here. Like based on the angle of this shot, we should be able to see his house, but I guess the animators were feeling a little lazy and just didn't draw it. Again, this one's kind of cartoon logic, but it's still technically a mistake. Like his house should be right there. Like Like, look at this shot of Conch Street right here. That's where his house is, right there. So it should be right here in this shot. But anyways, I'm rambling. Let's just keep the spiciness going and head over to another episode with more mistakes. Tons of mistakes coming up. So I imagine some of you guys have pets, and here's a funny question for you guys. What if one day your pet could just start talking? Like, your dog could just start talking to you. Or your cat. I'm kind of more of a dog guy, but your cat could be talking to you too. Well, this is exactly what happens in Chatterbox Gary, with Gary over here becoming quite the chatterbox. Now, of course, we're gonna get right into the mistakes, is what you guys are here for, but here are some hilarious clips from this episode of Gary talking, like some of the funny stuff he says, and then we're gonna get right into the mistakes.
Hello there, Papa Bob.
How do I look in these pants?
They really bring out the sharp corners of your buttocks. Greetings and salutations, grouchy man.
Yeah, I need to get one of these things right here for my dog, because Gary is cracking me up in this episode. Like, we need a whole spin-off series that's just based on Gary. But anyways, on to the mistakes. Here's the first one. Try to comment it before I reveal the mistake. I want to see if you guys can catch it before I tell you. All right, roll the footage.
Stupid rake!
So as you guys just saw in the clips we just played, Squidward climbs up into SpongeBob's house. And when this happens, we can see that there's this rake right here, all right, by SpongeBob's house. This rake's right here. Remember it. As eventually, when Squidward climbs down from SpongeBob's house, the rake has just magically disappeared. And considering the context of this, like, episode and this scene, while Squidward was sneaking up there, SpongeBob did not come out and put the rake away. The animators drew the rake at first and forgot to draw it the second time, which isn't a big deal because this is a kid's cartoon, so yeah, but still, it's a mistake. Like, get wrecked, Nickelodeon. It's a mistake. And here's another one.
In order to achieve complete brainfulness, one must clear one's mind of all distractions.
Early on in the episode, we get these scenes where Squidward is meditating, all right? And now normally, if we look at Squidward in any other episode, just a random PNG of him, he always has these wrinkles on his forehead. Even back in his first appearance of SpongeBob, he's had the wrinkles. They will disappear when he makes very specific facial expressions, but even that is rare. They very rarely disappear. And when they do, it's usually a mistake. Now, if you guys look while Squidward's meditating, look, his wrinkles on his head are gone. But there could be a reasoning for this. Now, I think it's a mistake, but it could be due to the fact that he's meditating. So he's relaxed, he's calm from meditating, which could result in, like, the forehead wrinkles maybe going away. I don't know. I definitely think it was a mistake, though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Ever notice how big squirrels' teeth are? I mean, hey, you could land a plane on those things.
Nice. Squirrel jokes? I love this episode. I felt bad for Sandy in it because, you know, they're kind of mean to her, but overall, really, really, really good episode. And of course, it has a mistake. Let's see if you guys can spot it without my help. All right, guys, before I reveal and explain the mistake, try and comment it to see if you guys spot it first. But all right, roll the footage.
Squirrel! I know, let's try and communicate with it.
Okay, so context. This character right here is Incidental 38B, and you'll notice that their lips are purple, all right? Their lips are always purple too. In any other episode, look at some of these shots, their lips are purple, remember? Well, in the scene you guys just saw, where Sandy's in the grocery store and these three fish just start roasting her, like they start going in on our girl. If we watch Incidental 38B closely, their lips actually flicker orange for about a frame, and then they go back to purple, but for that one frame, look at this, like what? My theory is if you look, this fish over here is orange and has orangish lips, so maybe they got confused and mixed it up. It's only for a frame, but it's still a mistake. And here's another one that you do not want to miss from Squirrel Jokes. Roll the footage.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I want to give a special thanks to my friend Sandy.
So this right here is my boy Incidental 11, and you'll notice that he has this fin right here, all right? I want you to remember how this fin looks. We even see him in this episode earlier on, and his fin looks the same, right? Well, during the scene you guys saw where the spotlight's put on Sandy after SpongeBob starts roasting her more, look, part of Incidental 11's fin is just missing. It looks incredibly awkward, especially when there are shots with their full fin intact. So weird mistake here. It's not very noticeable unless you're looking for it, but I mean, come on, that is a mistake. And here's another one.
Crabs? Oh, brother, they're so cheap, they can't even pay attention.
It's true! I am cheap!
forward, and I feel bad for Mr. Krabs over here, but when SpongeBob talks about Krabs in his stand-up, Mr. Krabs over here is missing his legs. I can understand how this happened kind of, but also like considering the angle, they're kind of silly for this one. It's so blatant. Like I remember catching this as a kid. So yeah, no legs on Mr. Krabs. Hey, it happens sometimes. Let's head over to another episode, guys, and stay tuned because the mistakes are gonna get worse as we go. Like it is going to be crazy by the ending of the video. All right, let's head over to the next episode.
Wow, Squidward, you flipped him over. That takes an awful amount of skill.
Season 4 Skill Crane is an interesting episode. The plot, I mean, is very interesting. The idea of them getting a skill crane in the Krusty Krab. Now I want to play one of these. These games are fun. I'll win all of you guys like a SpongeBob plushie, all right? Before that though, let's expose the mistakes in this episode. Here's the first one.
You know this guy?
Yeah, that's Squidward. He's got the magic touch.
Yeah, so this one really cracked me up. I never noticed this as a kid, but now that I've seen it, I cannot unsee it when watching this episode. So this construction worker right here, the short king right here, all right, pay attention to his pants. At first, he's wearing these like grayish, bluish pants right here, as you can see, all right? Remember these? They're kind of fresh. I need a pair. Then the scene changes, but when we go back to it and we see the same short king over here, look, his pants are now like a beige color. I'm doing a side-by-side and they like completely changed his pants. I don't even know how something like this happened. Maybe his pants were originally going to be beige. I don't know. Maybe it's a layering issue because if you look, they're standing on sand, which is a similar color. I don't know, but this is definitely a mistake. And here's another one from Skill Crane.
Need some change? There you are.
Gee, thanks.
No, Mr. Squidward. Thank you.
This one is very easy to miss. So in the footage you guys just saw, when Mr. Krabs is thanking Squidward after giving him change, it happens right before the coins start rolling, but the leftmost end of Mr. Krabs's belt turns gray for a frame. Obviously it's supposed to be black, as we've seen in every other appearance of Mr. Krabs, even in this episode. But for a moment, it is gray for a single frame, and that, my friends, is totally a mistake. Don't worry though, guys, we've got more. We're gonna head over to another episode, and you guys are gonna really like this one because it's from an iconic episode that I love. All right, let's do it. Let's head over to our next episode.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
I told you guys this episode is iconic, the secret box. This episode is all about Patrick having like this box and he won't show SpongeBob what's inside of his box, and this drives SpongeBob crazy. You know what really drives me crazy though? The mistake in this episode. Roll the footage, please.
This very box is the most secret-y secret. Not even Squidward's house.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this PNG of SpongeBob right here, and we'll all notice that he has freckles on his face. He has 3 freckles on each cheek. This is a major part of our boy's design. But there's a massive animation glitch in this episode, as before Patrick mentions Squidward's house, look at SpongeBob's cheek as he has double the amount of freckles. Like, it looks really weird. There's like 6 of them. This has never happened before and has never happened since this episode, so totally a mistake here. Like, look at how weird that looks. Anyways, let's go to the next episode.
I like it here. It's roomy. And best of all, we have this cave all to ourselves.
Up next, we have To Save a Squirrel, and this is actually a pretty good episode. I like this one. SpongeBob and Patrick go off to find Sandy, and the mistakes in this episode are very interesting, especially this first one. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
Carrots! You're making soup out of me!
It was not! It was supposed to be stew!
Did you guys catch it? If not, I do not blame you because this one is going to need some explaining. There is some explaining to do here for sure. It has to do with this puddle right here, as it seems that Patrick goes under the puddle when he's running, during his running animation. And I don't mean like he steps in the puddle like he's stepping in water. I mean like the art for the puddle is literally overlapping his leg like it's on top of his leg, as you can see here. This is 100% a layering issue, where you can see that the puddle's layer should be under Patrick's layer, I guess his body layer, but they messed up and swapped them, which is why this puddle is like on top of Patrick. So weird, man. It's so weird. Not as weird as this next one though, from To Save a Squirrel. Roll the footage. It has to do with one of SpongeBob's pores.
Owned our tent and lost all our water. Patrick, we are gonna need to use our razor-sharp quick wits if we're gonna make it out of here alive.
Gotcha.
Did you guys catch it? This one's actually fairly easy to catch if you pause at the right frame, which is what we just did for you guys, but I got you, don't worry, I'm gonna explain it. When SpongeBob says, Patrick, we are going to need to use our razor-sharp quick wits if we're going to make it out of here alive, one of his holes just becomes transparent for a split second, like you can see right through it and see the sky behind it, which is not supposed to happen. SpongeBob's pores are never just entirely see-through, they're just holes into his body, so being able to see the sky through our yellow spongy boy over here is 100% a mistake, and a fairly bad one actually. But alright, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's head over to another episode.
From now on, the Krusty Krab is open 24 hours a day.
Now we never have to stop working.
Back to the classics. Next up, we've got Graveyard Shift, and this one's a cool one where Squidward and SpongeBob are forced to work like overnight, and they get terrified when this new kid is coming to apply. They think he's the hash-slinging slasher, but he's actually just this cute kid right here. All right, enough spoilers. Here's the first mistake.
The hash-slinging slasher! Get away, SpongeBob! No matter what I've said, I've always sort of...
So let's take a look at SpongeBob's design, all right? We're looking at this PNG of our favorite yellow spongy boy right here, and you'll notice he has this red line right here under his mouth. It's always been there ever since season 1, and it never really disappears. It's supposed to represent like the under part of his jaw, I think, or the bottom part of his mouth. But anyways, in Graveyard Shift, when Squidward and SpongeBob are shaking under the misconception that the hash-slinging slasher is approaching, that red line under SpongeBob's mouth actually flickers between normal and invisible. I'm playing it in slow motion right here. I zoomed in and I sharpened the footage, and yeah, you can see it kind of just goes back and forth between the two, which is very awkward and weird.
I would like hey-ya!
Oh, what?
I said one Krusty combo. Did you speak karate?
We're heading over to season 7 for this next one, and this episode is not liked by the SpongeBob community very much. It's Karate Star. I personally don't think that the episode is that bad, but a lot of fans just do not like this one, mainly due to the plot, but surprise, surprise, the episode itself also has a bunch of mistakes. Here's the first one, and try to guess what the mistake is before I reveal it. Try to comment what the mistake is before I actually say what it is. I know you guys can do it. Anyways, roll that footage.
Hey, look, it's Patrick!
Hiya, SpongeBob!
What are you doing in there? They are nipped!
So this one's weird, all right? Let's take a look at the Krusty Krab from the outside, and you'll notice that the Krusty Krab doors have these yellow handles on them, all right? It's been there ever since the first ever episode, and it's just how the doors look, man, all right? It's how they look. But in the clips you guys just saw, when Patrick chops through the Krusty Krab doors with his karate, or his karate, those yellow handles do not appear on the floor, when they really should. Like, this mistake is a bit of a nitpick on my end, and I can understand why the animators were a little too lazy to put the handles in this shot, but it's still technically a mistake. Here's mistake number 2, though.
Also, lipids and cream.
We're all out. In fact, we're out of everything.
All right, mistake number 3. So as you guys saw in the clips, Patrick over here orders a delicious ice cream, all right? I could go for some ice cream right now. Comment down below, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Mine is cookie dough. But anyways, when Patrick orders his large ice cream, the amount of scoops on his ice cream inconsistently change in between shots. For example, when he first gets it, it looks like this, and there's this many scoops. But when the shot changes, look, so do the scoops of ice cream. It even happens again in this shot where the scoops of ice cream have changed again. Super inconsistent. Not a huge deal, but this one is most certainly a mistake, and hey, mistakes happen sometimes. It's a 2D animated show, but I caught ya. And let's catch more heading over to another episode. And guys, stay tuned because the mistakes are only gonna get crazier as we go. I'm saving the craziest mistakes for the end.
I hired him to stand out there and hold that sign.
Oh, he is good.
Can you direct me to the Krusty Krab, please?
You know, we cover a ton of mistakes on this channel, and there are some mistakes that just actually crack me up, and this is one of them. It's from the episode No Hat for Pat, which is kind of an underrated episode, just saying, with Patrick becoming an attraction at the Krusty Krab because he constantly falls and hurts himself. I actually feel kind of bad for Patrick in this episode, but anyways, here's the first mistake. Let's see if you guys can catch it.
I'll show you, SpongeBob! I'll get a job! And a hat!
Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward, but the Krusty Krab sign, alright? Normally it looks like this, and as you can see, it says the Krusty Krab. Of course, it's the Krusty Krab sign after all. But in this one shot from No Hat for Pat, look, the sign is misspelled, with the U in Krusty being replaced with a Y. But yeah, that's not how the sign is supposed to look. As a matter of fact, here's a side-by-side of how the sign looks in other episodes, and yeah, you guys can really see the mistake now. So weird, but not as weird as this next episode's set of mistakes. Let's keep it rolling, gang. Next up, we've got Squid Noir, and this episode's really cool. I actually think it's a very underrated episode. Now, we're gonna get into the mistake, but a big part of this episode is that Squidward becomes a detective, and when this happens, the whole art style changes. Everything becomes all black and white, and it starts to feel like a noir film. So we're gonna get into the mistakes, but here are some clips showing you guys this because it's a really cool episode. And then we'll expose the mistakes and take a poop on the episode.
When it came to paying the stupid bill, SpongeBob always tipped 20%.
All right, I'll partner up with you this time.
See, really cool stuff. Now we can just, you know, like I said, we can take a poop on the episode and bring up the mistake, roll the footage.
Billy, don't make me turn this boat around.
So sorry, I'm so sorry.
This one's actually pretty easy to miss, especially because the scene's in black and white. But when one of Bubble Bass's friends try to comfort him after his suburban dad action figure breaks, the veil that one of the friends wears disappears for like a split second. It happens really fast. It then pops right back on, but look, for this one frame, it's gone. I'm actually gonna play the clip in slow motion again. Like, look at this, I'm playing it, and like, yeah, like it just disappears randomly. At least he gets it back though, so yeah.
Okay.
Squidward, have you ever seen more lovely French tips?
French tips, huh? All right, pal.
Listen, so when you get old, like your big brother Corey over here, all right, your big brother cartoon Corey, I'm turning old, I'm getting old. Sundays become like a very important day. It's like your day off because you're working all the time. So I'm not surprised that Squidward gets so annoyed at SpongeBob and Patrick for ruining his Sunday off in the episode Good Neighbors.
It's Sunday! A good neighbor doesn't bother me on Sunday!
Sunday?
This is another one that just makes you laugh like a lot, as when Squidward angrily throws SpongeBob out, he's seen wearing his regular clothes. You can see it right here, his regular OG fit. But in the very next shot, dude is now wearing his pajamas, and this happens in a matter of seconds. Like literally he's seen in his regular clothes and then the scene changes and now he's in his pajamas. Weird continuity error, but let's keep it moving, guys. Let's talk about season 7 for a second, more specifically the episode The Play's the Thing, an episode all about Squidward putting on a play at the Krusty Krab. Now, of course, there's loads of mistakes we're going to be covering in this episode, and you don't want to miss them, but here are some clips from Squidward's play, as it's actually, like, really funny, and then we'll get right to the mistake.
Promise and potential.
I'd like a double Krabby meal.
Hero!
Hey, my Krabby Patty doesn't have ketchup.
Okay, it's mistake time. That's what you guys are actually here for. We're gonna cover 2. Here's the first one, and try to comment it without me revealing it yet. Let's see if you guys can spot it without me showing you it right away, all right? Roll the footage.
Delivery for Mr. Squidward Tentacles. Hello?
You guys may have caught it, all right? But in the close-up shot of the mailman's letter, the mailman's sleeve is missing, despite the fact that when we see like the full shot of him, he has the sleeve. So in the close-up of the letter, he should also have his sleeve. That's a continuity error. And here's another one from this episode. Here's a hint, it has to do with SpongeBob's teeth. Roll the footage.
Oh, the trash is full. I had better call the garbage truck.
This is a very common mistake throughout SpongeBob, and I try to avoid it because I feel like it's kinda lame, but in this case, it's actually pretty bad. So, while SpongeBob faces towards the camera and begins acting like a garbage truck, look, for about a split second, his teeth turned yellow. You guys already know what I'm gonna say, but SpongeBob, go brush those teeth, boy.